A fire in one of the apartments this morning on West Street near a military park. Residents evacuated as one firefighter described the situation as chaotic. It's not clear how the fire started. Birth control is part of a prenatal and postnatal funding package making its way through the State House, but there's disagreement about teenagers' access to those services. Eric Berman reports.
The House bill proposes local grants for contraception, but rules out programs to make it available to minors unless their parents approve. Some pediatricians want legislators to reconsider. Mary Ott says when Colorado made same-day contraception available, the teenage abortion rate dropped by a third. Eric Berman, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
An East Chicago man has been convicted of child molesting in Clinton County. Jason Walden will be sentenced next month for molesting a young girl in 2020. The girl told police that he was helping her parents remodel their home and that every time he came over to their house, he would make her undress and do things to her. A fight at Colts training camp on Wednesday between Michael Pittman and new safety Rodney McLeod.
We definitely encourage playing with an edge. We want, and that's part of what makes Pitt. But we don't want to cross that line, especially with our own teammates.
Head coach Frank Reich says it's over and done with now and they're moving on. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
It's a crash on the east side, northbound 465. Emergency crews are in. And the right lane is blocked before I-70. That has a stop and go back to 74. The southbound lanes aren't doing any better as they are stop and go from 70 down to 74. Fishers crash. Inbound 69, 96. Right shoulder is blocked, not slowing us down too much there. And on the south side, eastbound 465 jams at Harding. Let's go at Arlington Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield and the Indiana Fever Aid Food Insecurity at Brookside School 54 at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
A $2,000 energy-saving credit plus sale prices on energy-efficient view windows, siding, and doors. Up to $2,000 energy credit and no payments, no interest for up to 22 months.
Ever get those midday cravings, but you can't decide what to snack on? With over 6,000 fresh, healthy, irresistible snacks, Nuts.com has you covered. A family-run business since 1929, Nuts.com has provided the freshest, highest quality snacks and foods for almost 100 years. Don't be fooled by the name. We offer a wide variety of the most delicious dried fruits, sweets, trail mixes, and more. All our snacks are carefully sourced to ensure we're offering the freshest ingredients on the market. We get cream-of-the-crop top picks from America's best farmers, colossal-sized nuts, and fruit bursting with full flavor and ample nutrients. Our nuts are roasted daily, and we ship fast for ultimate freshness you can't get anywhere else. Right now, first-time customers can get free shipping on their orders. That's free shipping on your first order by visiting Nuts.com today. Don't wait to satisfy those cravings. Go to Nuts.com for the freshest, tastiest snacks you and your family will love.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy skies today with on and off showers and thunderstorms. Cooler too. Today's high 83. Tonight mostly cloudy. And again, scattered shower chances continue, a low down to 70. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Mostly cloudy, 74 on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, August 4th, and things that are trending this hour. The first winter forecast for 22-23 is out, and the Farmer's Almanac predicts a unseasonably cold and snowy winter for the Great Lakes region. Also trending, Geico. They have closed all California locations. And finally trending, Ron DeSantis, a spokesperson for him, teased a major announcement today. And she said, prepare for the liberal media meltdown. Although she did confirm later that this will be an official announcement and not about his campaign. It is 7 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Shocked is how I would describe it when I first read the text. And as the day went on, I wondered, why did this hit me so hard? And as I had a chance to think about it, I came up with she's a powerful, prominent member of Congress from my home district where I lived for 25 years. And she died suddenly and horrifically. We're talking about Jackie Walorski.
So she represented Indiana's 2nd congressional district, your area where you came to us from up there in South Bend. Mm-hmm. She had spent several years before joining the U.S. House of Representatives in 2013 in the Indiana General Assembly, and obviously was tragically killed in a car accident yesterday up in her district, along with 2 of her aides. And this is one of the things, like, obviously she's getting the majority of the media attention today because she was a very high-profile person as a U.S. Congress woman. But let's not forget the 2 aides that were in that car as well. Oftentimes, when a high-profile person passes away and there are other people there, we forget those people. But so we want to remember them as well, and the other person who was involved in the automobile accident. But I was amazed. Coming up next segment, we're going to have the Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch will join us because she served with Jackie in the Indiana General Assembly, and then they remained close after Suzanne became auditor and then lieutenant governor. And it's interesting when oftentimes you don't realize the impact someone had until they're gone, and that's true in all facets of life, right? Friends, regular people, high-profile people, whatever. And in the case of Jackie Walorski, she was very involved in some very high-profile legislation, including, I believe she was the author of the bill that became the state ID law in order to vote, which was very groundbreaking. It was super controversial at the time, ultimately upheld by the Supreme Court. And she was at the crux of that. So, learned a little bit about her yesterday, unfortunately under bad circumstances.
Yeah. Not only that, she was very involved in Veterans Affairs, and one of the bills that really put her in the spotlight came during her time in the State House. She was a pivotal vote on the Indiana Daylight Saving Time adoption. For quite some time, she wouldn't openly say how she was going to vote, and that was like her. She would not say anything until she knew exactly what side she was going to be on. And she was very patient like that. I did have a chance to meet her. She was a very fun-loving and boisterous person. She was very commanding. When she came into a room, you knew she was there. And that was probably part of the reason why she was such an effective leader. And my associate spent more time with her. He lobbied her quite a few times in D.C. and in her office in Mishawaka. And he recalled that she was very patient. She would wait until the deadline to make a final decision, that she was tough. She didn't just roll over and agree to everything, but she would consider all facets of an argument before she would decide on something. But she is going to be sorely missed. She was very involved in the district up in northern Indiana. She would come into the TV station where she was a reporter in the late 80s, 89.
Now, is that the same TV station that you worked at?
Yeah, and she was interviewed many times by Bob Montgomery, who's still at WSBT TV, and she knew a lot of people in the building. And when she came in the building, you knew she was there. And she knew everybody else's name, too. And she tried to make it a point to be very open with everybody. And it was definitely like her, just to be commanding, but very positive at the same time.
And a couple things I think we need to point out. One, we do want to give a kudos to the Indiana Democrat Party. They issued, Mike Schmuel, the head of the Indiana Democrats, has been on the show multiple times, issued a very, very bipartisan, across the aisle, kind statement. I thought that was really nice. And I know Andre Carson and Mervan up in the 1st Congressional District joined on an Indiana delegation not speech, but memo that went out, praising Jackie Walorski and her life. And again, it's just one of those things where it's like you read it on the news and you think, well, that must be a misprint. And then you realize, no, that really is not a misprint. And she, and we'll talk about this with Suzanne Crouch coming up next. When I was working for Suzanne when she was the state auditor, I remember she came in one time and it was because Suzanne and Jackie were friends, the amount of people who wanted to come like take a picture with her. And that was like unusual in the office because you normally don't get, people are used to being around the politicians. And so that was really interesting to me. And she was really tall.
She is very tall and very commanding, not only physically, but in her voice as well. And that carried over to her conviction in her purpose.
Yeah.
She knew what she stood for. And just a couple little interesting things about her. So she won the Republican County primary for the 2nd District in 2010, but she lost that race to Joe Donnelly, who is now the ambassador to the Holy See, and she only lost by 1 percentage point. The race was really close, and both of those candidates were very likable. Well, in 2012, when Joe Donnelly ran for Senate, she won the seat, and she won it by 1 point. So she lost her first race by 1 percentage point, and then she won by 1 percentage point. And in her last election in 2020, she won by 23 percentage points. So you can just see how she became very popular and very liked and admired by a lot of people, not only in northern Indiana and the entire state, but you can tell from the entire U.S. Congress.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, the Lieutenant Governor, Suzanne Crouch, will be with us. And I know what people are thinking, oh my gosh, somebody from the Holcomb administration. We decided today, and like I've known Suzanne for a long time, and she's a wonderful person. We decided that it would be best for everybody to call a truce today. We're not going to talk politics in terms of Jackie Walorski. It'd be good for everybody to get together, use our very fabulous broadcasting medium to remember her. Because she does deserve that. So when we come back, Suzanne Crouch, Lieutenant Governor, will be with us to remember Jackie Walorski.
All right, it's coming up from Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
When traffic's a bear, Matt Bear is a beast.
On the north side, 465 East is a parking lot for Merritt. Also, we have slow traffic from 82nd Street all the way up to 860.
When you need to get from here,
if you're coming in from Hamilton County, it's going to be tough
to there.
Into bridge construction at 465 and 60.
Matt Bear, mornings and afternoons.
It's going to be tough getting home tonight, but you'll be binge watching Stranger Things before too long.
93 WIBC.
The Great Resignation is a new and demanding challenge for employers. Beyond recruiting and retaining talented employees, you must understand their changing needs for personalized, non-traditional employee benefits. If you approach and deliver your benefit program as you did a decade ago, McGowan Brabender can help. We are reimagining the employee benefit journey to meet this challenge. It's time to thrive, not just survive. Contact McGowan Brabender to learn more.
You asked, we toasted. That's right. Breakfast bagels are back at McDonald's. Wake up with your favorite today, like the steak, egg, and cheese bagel. Freshly toasted and topped with a tender, juicy steak patty, a fluffy folded egg, melty American cheese, and grilled onions. Or enjoy other classic combinations like the sausage, egg, and cheese or bacon, egg, and cheese. When you're all finished, you will be wishing it was morning, all over again. Breakfast hours only at participating McDonald's.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. Save big this first week of August. 30% off all nursery stock this week at Sundown Gardens. That means save 30% off container shrubs and trees. Bald and burlap stock also included at 30% off. Save big now and enjoy your new shrubs and trees in your yard this fall. Find out everything Sundown Gardens has going on by following them on Facebook and Instagram, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com. That's sundown.gardens.com.
At Diamonds Direct, you know what we do. But let's be honest, there are a lot of places you can buy diamonds and fine jewelry. But it's not just our products and prices that set us apart. It's our passion. At the very core of Diamonds Direct is an overwhelming desire to make this moment in your life truly magical. It's that father with the tears in his eyes picking out diamond earrings for his daughter's sweet 16. It's that pure delight when the young couple finds the perfect ring to start their journey. And it's the feeling of pride the older gentleman feels when he chooses that anniversary band that celebrates a lifetime of love. At Diamonds Direct, it's not about a transaction, it's about a relationship. It's not about making a sale, it's about creating a memory. It's not about the ring, it's about his pride and her joy. This is our purpose, our cause, our mission, our very essence, to help you create your special moment, to be a part of the happiest time in your life. We are humbled and blessed, honored, and privileged to have the opportunity. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Hey, what's up? It's Hammer and Nigel. Join us Friday live in Columbus at the Thompson Furniture Patio Party at 3 o'clock. Free pizza, Upland beer, and big giveaways at 25th and Central in Columbus.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
That guy's brain is a bag full of cats. You can smell crazy on him.
And Casey Daniels.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
On 93 WIBC.
The tambourine man play a song for me.
She was a ranking member of the House Ethics Committee. In fact, the word in Washington was that Walorski was poised to take a leadership role in that committee if the Republicans gain control of the House this fall. Today, flags are flown at half-staff on her behalf.
Yes, obviously, Congresswoman Jackie Walorski passing away tragically yesterday, age 58, in a car accident, along with two aides and another driver that was involved in the accident. And again, we encourage everybody not to forget those people either. Obviously, we're talking a lot about Jackie Walorski because she was a very prominent person and political figure, but do not forget those people, other people who passed away, because they have families who are mourning and suffering as well.
Yeah, Zachary Potts was with her for a very long time, too.
Yeah. But we did want to, kind of spend some time today, and we will at various points throughout the show today, talk with some people who had experience working with and around Jackie Walorski. And one person that I thought would be great is Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch. And despite my opinions of the governor, Suzanne and I go back. I worked for Suzanne when she was the state auditor. She's very nice. She's always very pleasant. And so I reached out to her and said, hey, let's put the politics aside for a segment. And you knew Jackie well, and let's kind of remember what it was like to work in and around and, with her. They worked in the Indiana State House together, were involved in some very high-profile pieces of legislation together, and Suzanne was more than willing to do that. So earlier this morning, we had a chance to talk with the Lieutenant Governor, Suzanne Crouch. Well, Madam Lieutenant Governor, obviously you were friends with Jackie Walorski. You knew her well. You served with her in the Indiana State House, and then in addition, obviously, your role as state auditor and now Lieutenant Governor. Just kind of some reflection and thoughts on Congresswoman Jackie Walorski as you process this terrible news this morning.
Well, thank you, Rob. Like many Hoosiers, I was absolutely shocked and heartbroken to learn that Jackie had, lost her life in a car accident yesterday. Jackie Walorski was a larger-than-life kind of personality. She walked in a room. She commanded the presence. She never knew a stranger. She just had a very big personality. But she had an even bigger heart. She cared about people. She cared about her constituents. But I remember her fighting in the House, Indiana House of Representatives, fighting for Hoosier families and children. And I think that probably goes back to her days when she and her husband, Dean, served as missionaries in Romania and started a foundation to provide clothing and food for those that were in need and vulnerable. She always remembered the little person. And I think the outpouring of support for Jackie from both sides of the aisle speaks to the type of person she was. She knew how to work across the aisle. She knew how to get things done. And she was a Republican, but she was also a statesperson, and she knew how to work with people to accomplish great things for not only the people in the 2nd Congressional District, but for Hoosiers all over our state. She'll be sorely missed. She was just a dear friend. She was passionate about veterans issues, and I think that goes back to her father being a veteran. So how Jackie grew up and the values that were instilled in her along the way, I think, made her the person she was. And
it's interesting. The Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch is our guest. I remember when I was working in your office at the time when you'd just been appointed state auditor, and she came to visit you, and it was really weird when she came in there. It was like a rock star had come in, and I remember people coming in, I think from other offices. People in our office were very excited to meet her. You're right, Suzanne. She had this commanding presence about her, even though she was a very sweet person.
Yeah, she was very unassuming, but she just had a bubbling, big personality. She never knew a stranger, and she was kind and friendly to everyone, always had a smile on her face. I saw Jackie being passionate and being committed, but, she was never mean-spirited, and I think that speaks to the support that has come out for her from both parties that, spoke to the character and the person that she was.
Yeah, you mentioned both parties. Even the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, who used to live in the 2nd District, said that he said that he was shocked and saddened to hear of her passing. And my question is, what does this do to members of opposing sides of the aisle on a day like today? What is the mood that would be in the assembly?
Well, there were several people yesterday. We had, the special session. We went in to special session, and the news broke just slightly before we went in, and people were very somber, very upset, and I think that mood will carry over today. I expect that there'll, be some tributes to her on the floor of the Senate. I would expect in the House, because as you said, Casey, she just knew how to work with people on both sides of the aisle, and she was a Republican. She was passionate, but she wasn't mean-spirited, and she knew that to get things done, it took everyone working together to make that happen, and she knew how to make that happen, and I think people respected her for that.
Couple minutes left with the Lieutenant Governor, Suzanne Crouch. When you look back on being a legislator, obviously there are a lot of things you got done. And, it's interesting. Sometimes it takes, I didn't know the role Jackie Walorski had played in the voter ID law, which I think is fabulous. It is interesting, Suzanne, that sometimes it takes people passing before we look back and go, wow, that person was really instrumental in really important things. And Jackie Walorski, on the state side of things, played a role in a lot of big topics.
Well, absolutely. And let this all be a reminder to each of us how precious life is and how important every moment is, and to make a difference and to be able to help other people. And that is what Jackie did every single day. And so that is her legacy, and that is what she'll be remembered for, is the contribution she made to improve the lives of Hoosiers.
Well, we definitely appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to remember Jackie Walorski. We'll look forward to having you back on soon. Hopefully we can talk about some happier things, and we appreciate really, really very much Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch, you taking some time for us today.
Thank you, Robin Casey.
93 WIBC, it's the Kendall and Casey Show.
My name is Kayla Sinders, and I work for Gleaners Food Bank. I am a local service manager for 3 counties in our 21-county service area, and I nominated Katie.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
My name is Katie Wilkerson. I pick up at the mobile food pantries. The best part of volunteering to hand someone some food and see the smile on their face, the relief. Without my vehicle, there's no way I'd be able to do this. To go to any of the pantries, it's at least 18 miles.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more, as well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
Jiffy Lube accepts competitors' coupons, so you don't have to choose between saving a few dollars versus treating your vehicle to Jiffy Lube's award-winning service. Click on JiffyLubeIndiana.com for a Jiffy Lube near you.
Identity theft continues to be the fastest-growing criminal act well into its second decade. 1 out of every 3 people will lose their identity this year. Protect your identity with QuickShred. Documents are shredded in full view at their retail location at 62nd and Binford. No matter how big or small, they shred it all. Commercial bin placement is also available. And now QuickShred recycles electronics too. Visit QuickShredIndy.com. QuickShred is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. QuickShred.
Do you plan on living on a more liberating budget than Social Security is going to provide when you retire? Do you know how to make Social Security work best for you with your other investments?
Singer Financial is a strategic wealth management and financial planning partner that helps aspiring retirees plan, dream, and get that life that they want in retirement. Singer Financial specializes in strategizing and equipping you to bring you the visions for retirement to life. Singer Financial can help you make the next chapter of your life whatever you want it to be. Go to singerfinancialgroup.com or call 317-852-9153. That's 852-9153 and learn how the Singer Financial Group helps people just like you pursue your vision of the good life in retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Get ready for incredible speed and high-octane fun. The Indy Airstrip Attack returns to Marion, Indiana Airport August 13th and 14th. This fast-paced racing event showcases some of the most powerful cars in the world. Presented by Revolution and Shift Sector. Grant County, Indiana. Classic cool.
Your Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
As a parent, you want the best education for your child. Choose Marion University Preparatory School for this school year. Their faith-based online private school is currently enrolling students in grades 6 through 9. Your child will benefit from their personalized college prep curriculum and supportive community. Financial aid is available through the Indiana Choice Scholarship. To learn more about the unique educational experience of Marion University Preparatory School, visit k12.com/Marion. That's k12.com/MARIAN.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A show of force. 74 with some light rain showers on radar. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:31. China flexing its military muscle in response to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. Missiles being shot over Taiwanese airspace, not targeting anything in Taiwan. It's part of a Chinese military exercise. Florida Senator Marco Rubio.
Part of it is to send a very clear signal to leaders in Taiwan and to military leaders in Taiwan, and that is if we decide to take you by force, you won't be able to stop us.
China's foreign minister calling Pelosi's visit manic and irresponsible. A spokesperson for Ron DeSantis says that the Florida governor will be making a major announcement this morning. On Twitter, DeSantis' press secretary Christina Pushaw hinted the announcement, and the speculation since then is that DeSantis might announce his plans for a 2024 presidential election. However, his spokesperson says that the announcement has nothing to do with campaign-related stuff. And now the stock report. The Dow is down 64 at the opening bell to 32,706. The Nasdaq is up 10 to 13,281. And the S&P 500 is down a point to 4,154. I'm Kirk Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Ever get those midday cravings, but you can't decide what to snack on? With over 6,000 fresh, healthy, irresistible snacks, Nuts.com has you covered. A family-run business since 1929, Nuts.com has provided the freshest, highest quality snacks and foods for almost 100 years. Don't be fooled by the name. We offer a wide variety of the most delicious dried fruits, sweets, trail mixes, and more. All our snacks are carefully sourced to ensure we're offering the freshest ingredients on the market. We get cream-of-the-crop top picks from America's best farmers, colossal-sized nuts and fruit bursting with full flavor and ample nutrients. Our nuts are roasted daily, and we ship fast for ultimate freshness you can't get anywhere else. Right now, first-time customers can get free shipping on their orders. That's free shipping on your first order by visiting Nuts.com today. Don't wait to satisfy those cravings. Go to Nuts.com for the freshest, tastiest snacks you and your family will love.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers, certified electronics recycling. Visit tech-recyclers.com. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
The Senate Social Services Bill, which is designed to accommodate an increased demand in family services following a proposed abortion ban, duplicates the House version after Tuesday's committee meeting. The bill, which includes the Senate's $10,000 tax credit for adoptions, passed the committee unanimously, and now it's going to be voted on by the full House this week.
Our legislature, in case you were already not aware, is a total joke and an absolute disgrace. So we have lost track of the fact that the original reason this special session was called was to deal with, quote, inflation relief. And we are now, okay, so they were 19 days delayed. They're 10 days in. So you're 29 days in, no, more than that, 11 days in, 30 days into this special session.
You're doing math on the fly.
And the House and the Senate are still nowhere close on the original reason for this special session, which was to give money back to Hoosiers. This could have been and should have been about an 8-second conversation, because you had full unanimous Democrat support to do something, which was suspend the gas tax. Suspend the gas tax. 3 months, 6 months, a year. Heaven forbid you do it, for a year. Heaven forbid you do it
forever.
Forever.
Forever and ever and ever.
And they have chosen, they being the Flanders boys, Rod and Todd, Rod Bray, the pro tem of the Senate, and Todd Houston, the Speaker of the House, to make this as unorganized, untransparent, and as difficult as possible. It is so stupid that now the House, who has already voted on something, is stripping the language out of a Senate bill and essentially voting on it. Again, I loved this quote from Representative Ed Delaney, who's a Democrat. And look, the Democrats are dead wrong on abortion, but on this fiscal stuff, they make a lot more sense than the Republicans. He said, quote, this is a state rep saying this. I love this. Indiana Capitol Chronicle had the story, by the way. Quote, I don't have any idea what we're doing because we're passing something we already passed that the Senate doesn't like. The Republican Party, because they control everything here, the Democrats are irrelevant players in the game, on all the games, right? They have almost no votes. This is the Republican Party, is going out of their way to avoid giving you your money back, because that's what this is ultimately about. Is the government, the Republicans, are sitting on $6.1 billion of your money in overtaxation. And if they had worked this hard, I mean, it's amazing how hard they're working to not give you your money back.
Where's our $1 billion?
What? Screw that. Where's our $6.1 billion? Because that's what the surplus is. It's overtaxation for money you're not using to fund the government. And they are obsessed with making sure they throw as much money as possible from the surplus at new government programs and services. Both the House and Senate call for that. You know what they're not focused on? Giving you your money back. These people are a joke and a disgrace. People ask me all the time, well, don't you think you're being a little mean to these people? No, I'm showing, and I show our senators and representatives the same respect they show the taxpayers, which is nothing. And more people should treat them the way I do because they have no respect for you. These people are a joke.
The bill provides over $58 million for social services and repeals the state's diaper tax. But here's a question for you. Have you received your $225 check yet?
Well, nobody has.
Wasn't that the number being thrown around?
$125 what was passed in March.
Right. But wasn't there talk that we were going to get $225 back?
Oh, there was talk. And that's all it's been is talk. So think about this. The Republicans in March shot down a Democrat plan which would have suspended the gas tax, which was absolutely the right thing to do. They then decided we're going to give you $125 back, which is automatically triggered because the bean counters couldn't spend the money fast enough. Keep in mind, the Republicans didn't really vote to do this. The state law said they had to, by law, if the surplus exceeded $2 billion, give you that money back. So the bean counters probably got in big trouble and got, like the nun in the Blues Brothers when they're up there, the wax from Holcomb, because they didn't spend the money fast enough. So they were forced to give people $125 back. Only about half the state has gotten the $125 back. I know a whole bunch of people have not gotten that money back yet. Then, because they were so mad that they couldn't spend the money fast enough, the Republicans in the session, while the Democrats were calling for a suspension of the gas tax, changed the state law to say, well, now any surplus between $2.5 billion and $5 billion goes to teacher pension debt. So now the only way you're going to get a refund is a $500 million window. That's the only refund you could possibly have, because then when you get another opportunity, because there's still so much money because of overtaxation, they're finding every possible way to not give you your money back. Why is this okay with anyone? If you are a straight party voter, why is this okay with you? You tell me. Rob at WIBC.com. The YouTube chat is up. You tell me why this behavior is okay. Why are you voting for these people? Any of them. Why?
Has there been any talk in the General Assembly about the inflation relief?
Well, I mean, there's been these guttings and strippings of bills. And now the best part about all of this is, so you've got a House bill that calls for $225 to go back to people. You've got Colonel Parker Bray, the greatest snowman in the Indiana General Assembly, with his proposal that, we'll suspend your utility bills for 6 months. No money actually going back to you that we stole, but you'll get your utilities suspended for 6 months. Of course, that's really going to disproportionately help big business, which is a bunch of our donors and lobbyists who support them, which are also donors. But don't pay any attention to that. That's just a coincidence. And you'll only get about $125-ish back if we do this. And they can't even agree on that. Tony had a great idea this morning. Do both.
Right.
Do both. Why is this even a discussion? This should have never been a discussion. We are here to suspend the gas tax. The gas tax is suspended. We will see everybody 1st of January to decide whether we will permanently suspend the gas tax. Thank you. Bye. Why is this so hard?
They're in their second week now, and nothing like that.
Screw, they're in their second week. Mm-hmm. They're 30 days in because they took 19 days off and patted themselves on the back. For what? I don't know.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. A potential abortion restriction could factor into Gen Con's future in Indiana. Gen Con's president said they were deeply troubled by the action currently underway in the Indiana General Assembly.
Casey, if I didn't make it clear to you yesterday, let me tell you about how many craps I give about what Gen Con thinks about anything. Zero. I am so sick as a resident of this state, as a lifelong resident of this state. By the way, if you moved here when you were 2, can you claim to be a lifelong resident if you're in your mid to late 30s?
We'll allow it.
Perfect. As a lifelong resident, because you were not born here. Rob Kendall lying on the radio. As a lifelong resident of this state, I am so sick of people who drop in here for a weekend and think because they have some convention here that they get to tell me how to live my life. I don't care at all about what you think. And I think it's disgusting that what happened with RFRA, that these lawmakers got down on bended knee and gave away their legislating authority to Gen Con and these various other conventions that actually don't really, in many cases, the people there don't care at all about Indiana. I don't care what the people at Gen Con want. I don't care what they think. Move your convention. You're not going to move the convention. You're legally bound here until 2026. Nobody's going to be thinking about abortion in 2026. Idle threat. You're full of crap. I don't care. Eat it.
It's a tabletop gaming convention. Between 60 and 65,000 attendees are expected this year, which is down.
That's one Colts game.
It's down from last year.
So So is the next time we're going to let the Colts? Does Jim Irsay? I mean, we already give him billions of dollars. So I mean, on top of that, do we as taxpayers now do whatever Jim Irsay? What about the Simon family? They own the Pacers. That's what is that? 3 or 4 Pacers games.
Here's an interesting thing to note. The Indy Star quoted them and said, "We at Gen Con believe in the right to autonomy over our bodies and the right to choose." That from Gen Con. But then when you go to the Gen Con website, full vaccination, all participants are required to show proof of vaccine.
I don't care at all about what you people think. I'm so sick of hearing about you. I could give 2 craps what your view on abortion is. If you don't like it in 2026, go somewhere else. You're not going to. And hopefully these lawmakers will just do the right thing, because you cannot let a convention, it's not a breathing entity, it's not a human being, and a convention tell you what. How pathetic do you have to be, Casey, to allow a convention to tell you what to do?
You had a run-in with Tesla or a Tesla vehicle, and I can't wait to hear about the experience.
This was classic. I met a guy yesterday who had the worst experience ever with a Tesla, and it wasn't like a guy screaming lunacy. It was all incredibly valid, and I learned so much, and I will never, ever, ever, never, ever, 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 never drive an electric car after this.
Okay, we'll hear that coming up from 93 WIBC.
3 o'clock today on the Hammer and Nigel show. More on the tragic passing of Representative Walorski. Rob Kendall will join us as well. 93 WIBC.
Imagine if McDonald's was always within reach. Chicken McNuggets, golden crispy fries, all in the palm of your hand. With the McDonald's app, you don't have to imagine. Exclusive deals on all your delicious favorites are just a tap away.
Did someone say free fries? Download the McDonald's app and get a large order of fries on us. Valid one time only through the last day of the month for first-time app users at participating McDonald's. May take up to 48 hours to appear in deals. Download and registration required.
It's time for the Crestpoint Real Estate Market Minute.
It's Terry Stacy, and with us is Patrick Keller, managing broker and owner of Crestpoint Real Estate, Indy's real estate experts.
Hey Terry, this week I'd like to put things into perspective in regards to real estate. Obviously the headlines have been talking about how real estate is changing due to higher interest rates and it's not as favorable to purchase. 6 months ago when rates were about 3.5% to 3.75%, if you were interested in a $300,000 house, you likely would have had to spend about $330,000 or $340,000 on that home to win it. Today, that $300,000 house, you're likely to spend $300,000 on it. With the increase in interest rates, the mortgage payment on that $300,000 house is ironically very similar to the $300,000 listed house 6 months ago. What we're seeing is that it's a pretty even wash right now, and you have an opportunity.
Get your home value estimate in 60 seconds at patrickkeller.realtor.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The year started off with super high rates, but for the last 6 weeks, mortgage interest rates have dropped. A lot of banks and lenders are still charging those high rates, but at thehomeloanexpert.com, our rates are over a quarter point lower than the national average. With lower rates and a 10-day closing guarantee, we can have you in the home of your dreams by the end of the month. Ready to get pre-approved? Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well,
trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
My neighbor has one, and I can always tell when he's driving by the way it sounds. Talking about a Tesla. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So tell us about your run-in with that EV.
So I was at my dear friend Mike Trammell owns Big O Tires in Brownsburg. Mm-hmm. They're just a phenomenal place. I'm not getting paid anything to say this. They are just, he's one of Brownsburg's greatest residents. And he was taking care of my automobile. And we're sitting there shooting the breeze. And we started talking about mutual friends that we have that have Teslas. And we were talking about, what's involved in, like even the specific tires that have to go on a Tesla. And I was telling him that I had somebody that he knows, mutual friends who have a Tesla, and they had it in their garage, and I got a chance to see it. And
did you get in?
I very briefly. I fear technology, Casey, so it was very, very quick. And I was noting how they had the plug, in the wall in their garage, the charging station. That's what it's called, right?
Did you happen to ask, did they have to have any sort of electrical work done to that plug so they didn't trip a breaker?
I don't know. I didn't get that far.
Okay.
It was just lit up. It was in the wall. It looked like something out of a sci-fi movie. It was like that meme of Homer Simpson moving back into the bushes for fear of breaking something. It's a very nice car. Like, you look at the car and you say, that is a hell of a car. It's like, the construction of it, the insides of it. You look and go, that's a hell of a car. But they were talking about, the expense involved in even doing things like tires on a Tesla, because it takes specific types of tires.
So you can't just go into any tire place. You got to get a special Tesla tire.
My understanding, there is a special tire that has some sort of foam in it or something. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy shooting the breeze at the local tire shop. And so there's a guy sitting there next to me waiting on his car to be finished too. And so after a few minutes, Mike leaves and we're just sitting there, and he goes, "You will not believe the encounter that I had with the Tesla." And I said, "Oh,
do tell.
Please tell."
I'm listening.
He told me they attempted to take a trip that was, I don't know, I thought maybe he said New York. I can't remember the exact location. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. He said it was going to be like an 11-hour trip. Normally, if you got in your car and drove, it would be an 11-hour trip. And they said, we did not want to take our family car, so we decided to rent a car. And we thought, boy, this would be fun to rent a Tesla. Like, we've heard all these things about Teslas. Apparently, they are somewhat reasonable, while expensive, somewhat. If you really shop around, you can get them somewhat reasonable. Said, okay, on this family trip, let's take the Tesla. He said the first thing we found is this idea that you can get 350 miles for a charge. And old Buttigieg and Biden and Granholm and the left never mentioned this, that it's based on weight of the car. So he said what we found was when we had 3 people in the car, it got like equivalent of the full charge, but we had 4 people. And he said we were getting at most like 200 miles to a charge. So he said that was the first thing that they didn't tell us when we got this electric car, is that which makes sense if you think about it, because when you are driving your car with gas, if you got 4 people in there and the car's weighted down, it's harder to go, right?
And you got the air conditioner blowing.
It all makes sense, but you don't think about it because they never sell it. They sell it like it's this Wondermobile and everything is great. And so he goes, that's the first thing we found out. He said the second thing we found out was how long on a long trip it takes to charge these things. So I think he said the trip was going to last for some reason I think he said 11 hours. And he said it took us 18 hours to complete this trip because every fill-up, I call it fill-up, charge, whatever it is, is an hour to get done. Or he said there was an option you could do it in 30 minutes, but they charge you more for the electricity.
Oh.
And he said the other thing you have to consider is, unlike gas stations, it's not like there's a Tesla charging station 3 miles ahead.
On every corner.
So you can't wait until, if you're getting 200 miles to your trip, you can't wait until, hey, we're down to 30 miles on the charge.
You can't be like me this morning with my gas light on as I'm driving in going, just get me there. Just get me there.
And you can't do like I do because I know the super cheap place that sells gas near your residency and just put
a couple bucks in
to get you to work today. You've got to do the whole dealio.
Oh, you can't just charge for a few minutes. You got to let it go.
Well, you could, but you don't know where your next charging station is going to be. He said they had such a miserable experience with this Tesla that when they got to, again, I think it was New York where he said he was going, they took it back and said, we are renting something else on the drive home because we cannot do this. And I said, well, it's interesting because people really speak highly of these Teslas. And he said, yes, I would imagine if you have a Tesla for predominantly city-based driving, you would be fine. The other thing he told me, this is the last thing because I know we're getting close to getting to a break, is he said by the time he charged that Tesla for the hour, it was like $35 to charge the Tesla for an hour. It was something in the range of, for some reason, the number $47.50 to do it for 30 minutes. Well, in my car, Casey, $47.50 is way more expensive than what a full tank of gas costs me, and I can get 350 miles to a tank of gas, and it takes about a minute to fill it up. So look, it sounds like it is a magnificent car in terms of luxury, in terms of driving ability, but it sounds like it is the absolute worst car ever if you are doing anything other than city driving or can get anywhere within 200 miles, or you just have a lot of free time on your hands and can sit there and charge the thing up.
No long distance travel with Tesla. I read this and I thought, this is crazy. Why would this be happening? Tesla is opening a swimming pool at a supercharger location so that customers can swim while their cars charge. And this explains why. You've got an hour just hanging out. Interesting.
It was totally worth getting several repairs done to my car just to educate myself on the Tesla.
And you made a friend. Good job, you. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, Indiana, start the second half of the baseball season the right way and turn K's into cash and big hits into big wins with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in free bets. That's guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIBC to get in on the action. FanDuel lets you bet the money line, home run props, strikeout totals, and so much more. Plus, you could combine your bets for an even bigger payday with a same-game parlay. If you haven't tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. Just join up with promo code WIBC and turn a $5 bet into $150 in free bets. Win or lose exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use my promo code WIBC. Must be 21 plus in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Talking on the phone is difficult if you've been exposed to loud noises over time. Combat veterans, factory workers, farmers, gun and motorcycle enthusiasts can have trouble hearing on the telephone. Relay Indiana helps return clarity to your phone conversations. A free service providing telecom accessibility, Relay Indiana allows hard-of-hearing users to have normal phone conversations through specially trained relay operators. Relay Indiana also provides free loaned equipment to those who qualify. Get the CapTel caption telephone from Relay Indiana. Visit RelayIndiana.com now.
The Great Resignation is a new and demanding challenge for employers. Beyond recruiting and retaining talented employees, you must understand their changing needs for personalized, non-traditional employee benefits. If you approach and deliver your benefit program as you did a decade ago, McGowan Brabender can help. We are reimagining the employee benefit journey to meet this challenge. It's time to thrive, not just survive. Contact McGowan Brabender to learn more.
We're celebrating fun at the speed of summer at your Indiana State Fair. Your favorite summertime tradition is celebrating all things Indiana, including our automotive excellence in partnership with Tom Wood Automotive Group.
Today, more fun and great value at the Indiana State Fair. $3 Thursday, presented by the Indiana Secretary of State. Only $3 admission, $3 rides, and $3 food options all day today. Grab tickets at IndianaStateFair.com.
Join us for 18 magical days and 4 fun-filled weekends of food, rides, animals, and more at your Indiana State Fair.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 38,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, every day is a beach day. And with 35 miles of pristine, sugary white sand, it's easy to see why. So let's grab the beach bag, the beach ball, and the boogie board. Let's pack the suits, the sunscreen, and the sunglasses. Take a dip in the emerald green waters of the Gulf. And then take in a breathtaking sunset at the end of the day. So let's make a beeline to the beach. And let's shine. Plan your next getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Kindergarten? It's closer than you think. Will your child be ready? Let us help with On My Way Pre-K. Your child may qualify for high-quality pre-K right here close to home. And it could be free. Indiana's On My Way Pre-K program is the best way to ensure your 4-year-old is ready for kindergarten. Get information and eligibility requirements at onmywayprekk.org. When you want what's best for your child, you want On My Way Pre-K.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Chris Davis reports on how many are remembering Congresswoman Jackie Walorski, plus the other half of the debate when it comes to abortion and contraception, and why Major League Baseball is thinking about playing a regular season game at an old Hoosier ballpark. All that and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Brittany Griner asks for mercy in Russia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I made an honest mistake, and I hope that in your ruling that it doesn't end my life here.
The American basketball star was in a cage in court in Russia a short time ago, saying she understands the drug charges against her and pleaded guilty to having cannabis oil vape cartridges in February, but Griner says she had no criminal intent.
I want the courts to understand that it was an honest mistake that I made while rushing under stress, trying to recover from post-COVID, and just trying to get back to my team.
A prosecutor is asking for a 9.5-year prison sentence, and a verdict is expected later this hour. The U.S. and Russia are considering a prisoner swap to free Griner and another American, Paul Whelan, as an accused spy. China is playing war games in Taiwan, right around and all over the island, angry over House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit yesterday to the island nation it claims to own.
China conducting what it calls unprecedented medium-range, live-fire, precision missile strikes on selected targets around Taiwan. The drills, also dubbed by Beijing the largest ever in that area.
Fox's Greg Palkot.
They're There are reports even of missiles actually crossing over the island and through its airspace.
Speaker Pelosi's now in Japan after a stop in South Korea. Members of Congress in both parties are mourning a lawmaker killed in a car crash. Jackie Walorski, a Republican.
She was not fearful. If she believed in a mission, she was going to see it through.
That is House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Walorski and two of her staffers died when another car veered into theirs in her district in Indiana and then hit them head on. That driver also died. The jury that will decide if Nicholas Cruz should get the death penalty for shooting up a high school in Parkland, Florida in 2018 will take a field trip to that school today. 17 students and adults died. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Remembering her work. Showers on radar, 74 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. You might be hearing about Congresswoman Jackie Walorski's Christian work when it comes to missionary work and her first job as a reporter on TV. Chris Davis reports on some of her political achievements.
The Congresswoman killed in a wreck Wednesday in her district in Elkhart County befriended Senator Mike Braun when he decided to run for Senate.
One of the first great Hoosiers I got to know on my own journey.
Walorski also helped decide how your tax money is spent serving on the House Ways and Means Committee. Her passion of late was helping Hoosiers who are addicted to opioids through congressional means. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
So what happens to her seat in Congress? A special election will have to be held. Governor Eric Holcomb will have to set a date for that. Part of the abortion debate in the State House is birth control or access to it. Mary Ott with the American Academy of Pediatrics told state lawmakers Wednesday that easy access to contraception reduces teen pregnancy significantly.
When Colorado provided same-day confidential access to all methods of birth control, they dropped their birth rate for 15 to 19-year-olds by 29% and their abortion rate by 34%.
The bill being discussed in the Indiana House on the abortion side of things would have a 10-week pregnancy window for legal abortion. Punching a 2-year-old in the face is what police in Terre Haute say a woman did. John Herrick reports.
Raisha Stevens approached a woman in a parking lot as the woman was getting her 2-year-old child out of her car, says WTHI, and police say Stevens punched the child and then punched the woman. They're trying to figure out why. Stevens was in court on Wednesday. She's charged with 2 counts of battery. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Major League Baseball looking into hosting a regular season game at Bosse Field in Evansville. Bosse Field is the 3rd oldest ballpark in America, behind Fenway Park in Boston and Wrigley Field in Chicago. If a game were to take place at Bosse Field, several renovations would need to be done to bring the old ballpark up to current MLB standards. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It's Thursday, August 4th, and things that are trending this hour. Ron DeSantis. His spokesperson teased a major announcement today, which said, quote, prepare for a liberal media meltdown. However, she later went on to confirm this would be an official announcement, not anything about his campaign. Also trending, bullet train. Balls to the wall action with a top-notch ensemble cast. This is the latest movie that is playing exclusively in theaters. And finally trending, Louis Armstrong. He was born today in 1901 in New Orleans. It is 6 minutes after 10 o'clock with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
A couple of programming news notes and announcements before we get to our next very fabulous segment and guest. One, hello to everybody watching us in the YouTube chat. We appreciate you. Just put Kendall and Casey, WIBC, into your YouTube browser and hit the like button while you're there. You can watch the show. That really helps us out. And hello to everybody that is chatting in the YouTube chat. And two, Casey.
Yes.
As you know, on Monday, I made a vow to dramatically cut down on caffeine.
You're making a lot of life changes. You've gone off social media. You're cutting your caffeine.
And I am pleased to announce that as of my weigh-in today, I am like 4 pounds down, cutting out soda and sweets.
Good for you.
Part of this.
How are you feeling?
Oh, fine.
You're good?
I mean, I'm naturally just a horrific human. So, is there really that much difference that you would notice? It's fine. I've tried to
Your energy level is what I'm noticing.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to cut it down to one soda, I think, a day is realistic, but a lot of water. I've cut out the sweets. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, my goal is to hit my driver's license weight. So that I am not deceiving.
From what year? When you were 16?
I've had the same driver's license weight since I think I got my driver's license, which was,
of course,
which was a
me too.
I don't know. I don't think it's honest. I just don't think they ever asked to change it.
It's weird. My height changes a little. Sometimes I'm 5'4", sometimes I'm 5'5".
So I am 5 pounds away from hitting my driver's license weight. So I hope by the middle of next week I'll be able to claim my driver's license weight.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're trying to be healthy.
I'm doing it for you, Casey.
Thank you. I'm glad.
So obviously big day at the State House. The House is the Republicans are in caucus trying to figure out how they're going to scam and scheme the taxpayers of the state of Indiana and not follow through on their promise to be pro-life and protect life. And it'll be amendment to Palooza today when that finally gets started. And so I thought, well, let's figure out what's going on. Let's figure out if it is normal for the House on a large bill such as abortion to completely gut up what the Senate's done, which is what they've done so far. So we said, let's bring in our good buddy. He spent 30 years in the Indiana Senate, our old friend Jim Merritt. Here's that conversation. All right, Senator, it is amendment to Palooza today in the Indiana House. I assume over the years you have passed many things in your 30 years in the Indiana Senate that went to the House and went through amendment Palooza. How nervous were you as a senator when these hot-button bills went over to your friends in the House of Representatives?
Well, they killed a lot of them, Robert. Good morning. Casey, Robert, it's good to talk to you again today. It is the day where the legislature, as a whole, watches the House of Representatives in a bill that will really determine what goes on for the rest of the special session. We know that the Senate, the Indiana Senate, passed a wobbly with a bill with no momentum, 2620, but the House took that bill and heard 160 people come to the State House and state their opinion. Now it goes to the 100 members of the House of Representatives that are on the ballot in a very short 90-some day calendar period from now, and there are a lot of voices out there, and they will make their opinions known today in amendment form.
How much you mentioned a wobbly bill, and I think that's very accurate way to describe what got out of the Senate. How much of what goes on in the House is predicated based on, man, the Senate was pretty strong. They got 40 votes. They're not moving. Okay, we better kind of do what they want versus, boy, you guys were real weak. We're in charge here.
Well, it means a lot. I don't know about the in charge because I'm a product of the Senate, but the wobbliness, the lack of momentum on the 2620 means a lot, and as well as the 160 voices that came in and testified on the bill in the House committee and how it passed with flying colors out of that committee it really plays a role, and as well as what can get through the Senate plays an enormous role as well, and those that support this probably ought to be watching what the Senate will agree to, because as I looked at it, for those four people that weren't on the floor, I'm not really sure who is for and who is against that bill. So once it passes the House of Representatives, and it will pass, it's really in doubt exactly what the bill will look like coming out of Conference Committee.
Wait, you just said that it will pass.
Yeah, the House of Representatives, it will pass.
You think it will, no matter what they come up with? They'll pass something.
Well, I think, yes, I do believe they'll pass something. As I think you and I talked, Rob, recently, the Senate Republican caucus would not have gone to the floor on the abortion bill if they didn't have the votes. Now, as I said in a recent program, I always, as caucus chairman, we always went to the floor with 27 votes because somebody might get wiggly. And so with the overwhelming majority, Speaker Houston won't take that caucus to the floor without a majority of the votes in his caucus for third reading.
Former State Senator Jim Merritt is our guest. We're talking about the big abortion bill that goes in front of the full House of Representatives today. Okay, so help me. I have a palace intrigue question. So the Senate puts the criminal component in the bill, which makes sense. Duh. That's why you have laws. If there's no enforcement mechanism, then why do you even have the law? The first thing that House committee does is strip that out. That seems to me kind of like a big old middle finger to the Senate. Clearly, they thought it was important enough to put it in. And then the first thing the House does is strip it out. Am I just making up? Am I just seeing, things where there aren't things? That just seemed like a kind of just a big old message to the Indiana Senate. What say you?
Robert, there's always been a rub between the two chambers. There's no doubt about it. With the House of Representatives being on the ballot, all 100 of them, rather than just a half the Senate every 2 years, they are independent bodies of each other, regardless, Republican or Democrat. It's always been that way. And Chairman McNamara having 160 people and getting that bill through committee, I would imagine she did talk to her committee. She knows the body language of everybody, and she knew what could pass that committee. And you saw, if you watched the committee hearings or participated or listened, they know what the biomes of Indiana, of what their caucus is, and they're independent. And so that fist at the Senate happened a lot, and the Senate does the same as well. And not only the floor action with amendments and third reading will be very interesting to watch, the conference committee where they figure out, because the Senate will not agree with the changes of these bills. And so the conference committee will be something to watch as well when they take a look at these committees and see what can pass in both chambers.
Jim, we've said wiggly, we've said wobbly. Now, I have a question of maybe putting the cart before the horse, and that is the social services bill that's going to the House later this week. And it's to accommodate an increased demand in family services following a potential abortion ban. Are we being proactive, or why would they focus on that before the abortion bill is finalized?
Well, they're confident the abortion bill, and some people call the pro-life bill, will pass. And they also they want and Republicans don't. We're doing a better job with this, but they want to put out there the support, and they understand that women are upset on both sides of this issue. And women play an enormous role in Indiana in the elections, and they want to, and I think this is good, positive communication, that they want to be pro-women. They want the services out there. They want to encourage and incentivize people to to adopt. They want to reach out and to foster care, make that more of a solid issue. And frankly, Robert and Casey, I think every legislator should understand what goes on in crisis pregnancy centers, and they want to demonstrate that they're on top of this issue, because it not only is a healthcare issue, but it's a political issue, and that's why they're handling that first.
Before I let you go, Senator, obviously the very sad and tragic passing of Jackie Walorski yesterday, U.S. Representative, but you worked with her when she was a member of the Indiana House. Any memory or memories you'd like to share of working with Jackie Walorski?
Just a very sad tragedy, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the families that passed. And she was a member of Congress that what I would call as a constituent congressman. She dug it out, and she was the person who knew exactly what was going on in her district. She supported and really was proactive with Veterans Affairs, and it's something that the world has lost with the passing of Representative Congressman Jackie Walorski, and we will miss her dearly.
Former Indiana State Senator Jim Merritt, we'll talk to you next week. We'll see if we have an abortion bill by then. In the meantime, stay safe, my friend.
Thank you.
93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show.
The WIBC app.
I love it. I do. I love it.
One of the most profound inventions of the modern era. Ta-da! Keeping you informed and up to date from the convenience of your phone.
Here's what's trending.
Donnie Burgess, 93.
The conflict between Russia and Ukraine.
Gas prices have been falling. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5.
I'm John Herrick.
The WIBC app.
Download the app
so that you know what's going on in the world.
In the App Store or online. Ta-da! At 93 WIBC.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
It's the perfect time to focus on those things you can control. You can choose to design your retirement. Brian Singer can help you do that. Visit SingerFinancialGroup.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Let me warn you, he's a bad dude.
And Casey Daniels.
She is magnificent.
On 93 WIBC.
I see trees of green.
Today's his birthday. He was born in 1901, Louis Armstrong. Good morning. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC at 10:21.
Is there, and I'm not asking this to be mean, But is there like another famous Louis Armstrong song than this? Like a mainstream? I get that he was a great musician, etc., performer, but is there like another song?
Not that I'm sure there is. But
I know Autumn in New York. You ever heard of that one?
Like I said, is there another famous song? Because if you were to say, Rob, it's Mick Jagger's birthday. Okay, Satisfaction, Jumpin' Jack Flash,
Street Fighting Man. Give me
Sympathy
Shelter
for the Devil. Brown Sugar. Fill in your favorite Rolling Stones song or the Beatles. Let It Be.
Hold Your Hand.
Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah.
But
Jude.
is there another Louis Armstrong mainstream?
Other than What a Wonderful World.
Right.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
La Vie en Rose.
Oh, listen to him.
Yeah, there's some deep cuts. I think you need to explore the discography.
You know who also had some deep cuts? Local artist Carl Story, but we're not talking about him, are we?
Kevin, I'm proud of you as the musician.
How do you know all this about Louis Armstrong?
I'm the guy was a maestro.
So this is like you listen to
I've got
his music.
I've got a little jazz playlist that I listen to every now and then.
Boy, we learn things about Kevin every single day.
I'm a man of culture.
Yeah, he is. Well, a leading House Democrat on Wednesday backtracked on comments that she made on Tuesday. She said that she doubts President Biden will renew his bid for the presidency in 2024. But then she went on to say, no. I didn't really mean that. Of course, the White House has repeatedly said that Biden intends to run for re-election.
Things you might not mean, Casey, like you might get the name of a location wrong. You might get the name of a person wrong.
I've been known to do that.
You might get some sort of, whatever, a tidbit of information wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you get wrong that you don't think the president of the United States is going to run for re-election again. I think you pretty much got a decision on that, and that is your decision, whatever word comes out of your mouth. And by the way, why do you have to feel guilty for saying, I don't think the guy's going to run again? Why is that such a bad thing?
Yeah, that's what she said. I don't believe he's running.
Well, a lot of people don't believe he's running. Why does she have to backtrack out of that?
She didn't have information that anybody else had, so you do have to backtrack occasionally when she hasn't been told officially, right? Yeah. So I just saw another poll this morning that said people don't want him to run again.
No kidding.
And
that's really surprising.
But then the generic poll is saying that people want the Democrats in the Congress.
No. And we'll get to that here in a little bit. What was it like? Then hours. And because this happens every time with the polling. Polling is voter manipulation until about 3 weeks in. It happens every time. Oh my gosh, no matter what election cycle, whether Democrats win by 10, lose by 10, oh my gosh, people are they're really coming around to the Democrats, Casey. They've really seen what extremists the Republicans are on abortion, and well, sure, their life completely sucks and they can't afford food or gas or just about anything, and the country's going to hell, but the Democrats, they're really coming around. It's voter manipulation until the final 3-ish weeks, and then they have to get it right because that's what they'll post. All they ever post is, our final poll showed Fred Smith, winning by 7 points. That's the one they always post. That's when you got to start looking at it. The 3 weeks in, all this is, it happens every time. It's voter manipulation.
Do you want to talk about Pete Meyer in Michigan? It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC,
God, I hate that guy. And it sucks that I meant to make this red so Kevin would pull that audio and I didn't, and that's 100% my fault. Pete Meyer got beat, and that was awesome because that guy's a total turd, and I was so ecstatic to see that pretend phony. Well, he may actually be a real Republican given the makeup of the Republican Party today, but he went down big time, and that was great.
Well, do you remember I was getting survey requests from him on my cell phone, and I finally had to put a stop end so they would quit sending it to me? I just got another one.
Oh!
Joe from Michigan Surveys.
Wow, that's exciting.
And I thought, gosh, we really should do this, but I'm afraid to hit the button and do it live on the air without... I don't know. But Adam Kinzinger is really upset about this.
Also, another giant turd, Adam Kinzinger. And I love this. So Kinzinger is the guy from Illinois who is on that January 6th committee, who has totally lined up with the Democrats. He's has an R next to his name. Has totally lined up with the Democrats at almost every turn, takes great glee in thumbing his nose at the Republicans, putting a thumb in the eye of the Republicans. And now he's irate because the Democrats stabbed his buddy, Pete Meyer, in the back. And a bunch of the Democrats funded the guy running against Pete Meyer because they thought, well, he's more conservative, so he'll be easier to beat. And now Kinzinger acts all surprised. Oh, you mean the Democrats betrayed me? They lied to me? Well, you guys are going to regret that because that guy might win.
Peter Meyer put a lot of money into his campaign.
Yeah. A lot of rich, never Trumper, rich establishment, rich Democrat money. Yeah, I love that. There's nothing I love more. You know, Casey, if I were ever going to run for public office again, that would be one of my goals and how I would judge the success of my campaign. Not necessarily winning or losing, but how much rich establishment Republican money that I could force the other guy to waste in the process.
So I'm curious, John Gibbs won, and I'm curious, do you think that it has to do more with people's dislike for Peter Meyer because he voted to impeach Trump? Or do you think it has more to do with the fact that Trump endorsed Gibbs?
No, I think Pete Meyer's a turd. And I think people... Look, I don't think the Trump thing has all that much to do with anything. Pete Meyer's a turd. Adam Kinzinger's a turd. Liz Cheney's a turd. Liz Cheney's going to get flushed down the toilet next week, and I can't wait for that. And people oftentimes, especially in primaries, it depends on the makeup of the district, but they will often see through that. And look, you wanted to be Mr. Moral High Horse guy and get on the January 6th commission or vote to impeach Trump or play politics, and now you're unemployed, so good luck on your next undeserving overpaid job that you'll inevitably land at.
He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. It's 93 WIBC. Thanks for being here this morning.
Old National Bank is asking everyone to get old. But first, people have questions.
Will it take me years to get old?
No, getting old can literally happen in minutes.
Is getting old like a complicated process?
Not at all. Just stop into one of our banking centers or visit our website. We even have an app for that.
Will I look any different after I get old?
You may look happier and more relaxed with a banking partner like us.
Definitely want to get old.
Introducing Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Old National Bank. Get old. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Everyone here knows Diamonds Direct is the place to go for the best diamonds at the best prices. But did you know that savvy buyers from all over America, even Los Angeles and New York, now come here to buy their diamonds? These high-end shoppers have discovered that Diamonds Direct has one of America's best selections of large, rare diamonds, from 3 carats to 20 carats, all certified by the GIA, the most reputable and most trusted gem lab in the world. Because of Diamonds Direct's international connections and tremendous buying power, we're one of only a handful of jewelry stores in America that is able to offer a large selection of rare and precious GIA diamonds. In fact, Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar selection includes a stunning array of high-end Riviera necklaces, 20-carat tennis bracelets, and an extraordinary collection of rare, precious gemstones, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and even the really hard-to-find fancy yellow diamonds. Come see why Diamonds Direct right here is the destination for high-end shoppers all over America. Extraordinary selection, quality, and unmatched value. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Hi, friends. This is Patty Spittler with Pet Pals TV. You know, I'm very comfortable in front of the camera, but the telephone can intimidate me. Because of my hearing loss, I can't hear well on a regular telephone. Now with my cap telephone, I'm making contacts in a busy world. My caption telephone through Relay Indiana allows me to read what the other person is saying. Go to RelayIndiana.com to learn more about CapTel, the caption telephone. Read what you're hearing.
This is a call to the self-starters, to the self-made, and the self-sufficient. It's time to declare a new kind of independence. Because Edelman Financial Engines is here to provide tailored investment solutions for your kind of wealthy. You should expect more from your wealth advisors. Our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research, and our planners don't sell products to earn commissions. And because we're here for those who question the answers, we model more than 38,000 securities so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. So no matter where you're going next, see what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit efewealthplanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines, built for those who built themselves.
Staying connected is important in today's world. Whether it's hearing the news of a new baby in the family or calling work to let your boss know you're running late, phone service keeps you connected with your world. At AT&T, we know that some Americans face life every day without the comfort and security of having phone service. In certain areas, you may be able to reduce your phone bill with a Lifeline discount if you are in a qualifying low-income household. Additional discounts of up to $25 may be available to those living on federally recognized tribal lands where AT&T offers Lifeline. To find out more about Lifeline and other AT&T products and services, call us at 800-288-2020 or go to att.com/lifeline if you have access to the internet.
Lifeline is a government benefit program, and willfully making false statements to obtain this benefit is punishable by fine or imprisonment and could result in termination of Lifeline service. Lifeline enrollment requires certain eligibility documentation and is non-transferable. Limited to 1 discount per household. AT&T services, including Lifeline, are not available in all areas. Other restrictions apply.
Marian University Preparatory School is a faith-based online private school currently enrolling grades 6 to 9. Financial aid is available. Visit k12.com/Marian, k12.com/MARIAN.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Asking for mercy. Showers on radar, 74 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:32. Brittany Griner back in a Russian courtroom this morning.
I made an honest mistake, and I hope that in your ruling that it doesn't end my life here.
The WNBA star pleaded guilty to drug charges in Russia. She had a small amount of cannabis derivative in her luggage at an airport in Moscow. Prosecutors are hoping for a 9-year prison sentence for Griner. Meanwhile, the U.S. has offered a prisoner swap for Griner and another American. With Gen Con starting today in Indianapolis, getting into downtown might be an adventure, Matt Baer.
You can be coming in from Hancock County or the east side, taking westbound 70 and getting into downtown. Well, you will go through a construction zone, a north split construction zone after Rural Street. You'll continue over the new ramp into northbound 65 and eventually exit at Meridian Street Penn. That's exit 113. Or continue on to West Street exit. That's exit 114, which will put you right at the JW Marriott and the Indiana Convention Center. More options to downtown at WIBC Traffic from the WIBC Traffic Center.
I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Stars shining bright. We're doing this again, huh? Okay, there's Louis Armstrong. He was born today in 1901. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
This happens all the time.
Go ahead.
No, it happens.
Do your thing.
Mock and I used to talk about this all the time. It happens all the time. I love our audience so much, and you are like an extended family to me, and I would take a bullet for a couple of you. And so I appreciate you being with us every day. And thank you for those of you who watch in the YouTube chat. We appreciate you, and those of you who are listening on terrestrial radio, and we couldn't do this without you. That being said, our audience sometimes has a bad case of like hearing the words. What's that movie? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
That was the Bruce Willis movie.
No, this is Jackie Chan and Kevin. Was it Kevin Hart? No, not Kevin Hart. No, it wasn't. It was Jackie Chan, right? And who was the guy with?
No, it's from Fifth Element.
No, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Oh, no, it's another argument. Stick with the first one.
Okay, doesn't matter. Point is, where people will hear the words
coming out of your mouth,
but it's like when they assemble the words, they get misappropriated when they attempt to respond to the question that I have posed. Mm-hmm. Rush Hour, Chris Tucker, thank you. God bless this YouTube chat. You guys are great.
You're both wrong.
Point is, I asked a very simple question. I said, is there a Louis Armstrong song other than Wonderful World that was a mainstream song that I would hear on my radio? Like today, on my drive home, there is a chance if you said Rolling Stone songs you will hear, and we named them specifically: Satisfaction, Jumping Jack Flash, Brown Sugar, The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper, Let It Be. Pick your favorite artist. You can name 3 or 4 instantaneously. Mega hits. Mm-hmm. I said, are there any songs that I would hear on my radio that are mainstream enough that I hear on my radio on my drive home. Not that we're luminaries during the Calvin Coolidge administration. Not that people were preludes to a fireside chat from Roosevelt. The question was, are there any mainstream songs by Louis Armstrong other than Wonderful World that I am apt to hear on my radio on my drive home? You are apt to hear. There's a chance, like B1057, I'm sure has Wonderful World on the playlist. And then everybody starts sending me these songs. Well, that was a huge hit. When? When Lyndon Johnson was a little boy. The question was very simple.
Yeah, jazz doesn't get the love today that it used to get.
This happens all the time.
People listed some of his hits. They're just not going to be played on radio today.
No doubt when Eisenhower was president, people were probably doing the jitterbug and the tiddlywinks and the twirly bird.
That was a golden era.
I have no doubt that they've probably been in movies or whatever. But it's back to the thing, and I thought we'd gotten away from this with the audience for a while, where people hear the words, but they don't reassemble them in an order that makes sense. And so I'm sure Hello Dolly or Goodbye Granny or whatever these songs people are throwing out there were huge.
Let me get this straight. So you haven't heard the song Cheek to Cheek?
Who?
Dream a Little Dream of Me.
But is that going to be...
Summertime?
But not his version is not going to be on the radio. Did he write that song?
That's a good question. I don't know. But I'm sure he did a great rendition of it.
If you said Rod Stewart, I would say Maggie May. I would say Forever Young. I would say Hot Legs. I would say Do You Think I'm Sexy? Boom, 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 boom. All opportunities to hear these songs on the radio driving home. These songs you are laying out and our audience is laying out may be phenomenal songs. I don't know. I wasn't born in the 1890s. But the point is I'm not going to hear them on my radio driving home.
You're correct. You won't. You will not.
Rant
Robka.
over.
That's too bad.
You good? You done? I'm glad we laughed. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Alex Jones appeared shocked as he was told by his lawyers that he had accidentally handed over hundreds of text messages by mistake after he told the court that they didn't exist.
Alex Jones, and people used to get really mad at me when I first got here because we used to play Alex Jones clips as drops all the time because that guy is a total scumbag. He's an absolute loser. He's a liar, and he is a snake oil salesman. And he gives traditional, mainstream, conservative broadcasters who try to come in and bust their ass every single day to make a difference in society and a difference involving better government a bad name. And I am glad he's getting exposed for the absolute fraud that he is. And there are a group of people, and I think it has diminished since he got banned off all the social media, which, by the way, I totally oppose. Alex Jones should be allowed to absolutely should be allowed to exist. His fraudulent, disingenuous, hypocritical behavior should be allowed to exist. But those people used to get so mad when we would point out what a total fraudster this guy is and what he did and said about those parents involving Sandy Hook is disgusting beyond belief. And now it is looking more and more like not only did he say it, but then he lied about what he knew, when he knew, and he may have lied to the court about it.
Well, that's what they're saying. Let's take a listen.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have a text message about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then...
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
No.
So he filed for bankruptcy in the beginning of the week, and now he's in this defamation hearing. What's the future hold for this guy?
Hopefully nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully everybody has finally figured out. Because, I mean, remember, I think it was during his divorce hearing where he basically admitted that, well, a bunch of it's just an act. right? They're just acting. I'm just playing here because they were going to take the kids away from him because the guy's a maniac. And this guy is a huge detriment to people like us and people on this radio station every day.
Who try to get it right.
Who are genuinely passionate about the beliefs, about what's happening in this country, about the size and scope of government, who don't find anything funny or playful about what our politicians are doing and how they're destroying this country. And this guy, we get lumped in with him because it's easy to do, right? Oh, conservative talk radio. Alex Jones is not conservative talk radio. He is highly fraudulent. I'm glad he's getting exposed. And I hope that for a whole bunch of people, this was the absolute last straw, because what he's put those parents through who were victims of absolute tragedy with many of their kids dying.
Saying that the Sandy Hook was a hoax.
And then him trying to go, well, I learned later, basically, that it wasn't. But you went out and said that it was because you were playing your little character and you caused immense harm to these people. I'm so glad this is coming out.
Harm to people who were already suffering. Ron DeSantis is supposed to make an announcement this morning. Mm-hmm. That's what his press release came out, said that he was going to prepare for a major announcement, prepare for the liberal media meltdowns.
Okay,
so I keep looking, but nothing is happening.
Well, but here's what gets me on this. Okay, so it is one thing of, I'm Ron DeSantis and I'm running for governor and I got a big announcement because you better be prepared for liberal tier meltdown, whatever the phrase was. Mm-hmm. That's fine to do that in a campaign. But there's something that strikes me wrong or inappropriate about this from as an official governor capacity. Because as an elected official, I don't care as a constituent about liberal tiers or whatever. I care about you doing what's right. And when you, from an official account, or someone on behalf of your official account in this case, is saying this, you're needlessly dividing people. The policy is the policy, and the policy will live and thrive based on the policy itself. And yes, there's a good chance something Ron DeSantis is going to do is going to make liberal people very upset. That's why we like him. But when you start from an official capacity ostracizing or antagonizing your taxpayers and constituents, I don't know, Casey. Maybe just semantics. Maybe I'm making too much out of it. I didn't like that, because your job as governor is to be the governor of all the people, and the policy will stand on its own.
Well, they did say the announcement would be an official one, not about his campaign. But Florida saw nearly twice as many new businesses open than New York did in 2021, and that's according to a new federal census data. So something that's going on in the Sunshine State is good.
Well, you lived there.
I did live there.
And I'm curious, because you lived there like right at the height of COVID, right?
Right at the height. Here's the deal. I moved from South Bend to Tallahassee, started a new job on March 10th, 2020.
Mm-hmm. Well, you actually got lucky.
You'll recall what happened March 12th of 2020.
Yeah, but you got real lucky that you were in Florida. Think about how I can tell you, under the tyrant rule of Lockdown McGee down the street from us, it wasn't a lot of fun here.
No, it was more open in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, I would gather the economic calamity that a Florida felt, because everybody felt something, because, we live in many ways in a world economy, a countrywide economy. But I would imagine the economic calamity that Florida felt was far less than a place like Indiana.
Well, and that's what this data is showing, that they had many more new business applications. Part of that because they had more relaxed COVID mandates.
Yeah.
People wanted to go there. And Ron DeSantis was inviting people to go down there. You remember he was telling the NBA, come down here and practice. We're open.
Yeah.
You don't need to live in the bubble wherever you're at. That also attributed to recovery. The red states are tending to recover faster than the blue states, and Florida is seeing that. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. We've got Hammer, who's going to join us next, so stick around.
3 o'clock today on the Hammer and Nigel show. More on the tragic passing of Representative Walorski. Rob Kendall will join us as well. 93 WIBC.
At Franciscan Health, we're inspired by what moves you and how you move through life. So if you're suffering from joint pain and want to get back to an active lifestyle, Franciscan Health Mooresville and Carmel, home to the Center for Hip and Knee Surgery, is your best move. Our world-renowned orthopedic surgeons offer the latest advancements in total joint replacement, including outpatient surgery. If you're ready to get moving with less pain, request an appointment at centerforhipandkneesurgery.org.
Imagine if you could accomplish 3 things when you invest your money. 3 things. 1, get a 5, 10, or even a 35% bonus on your investment. 2, get a competitive return that'll beat what you get at the bank. And 3, sleep well knowing your money is protected by some of the top-rated insurance companies in the world. To learn more, call Bill Demery, your retirement guy. Call 317-349-5212. You'll benefit in 3 big ways. Get a 5, 10, or a 35% bonus on your investment. Earn a competitive return that'll beat the bank. And sleep well, knowing your money is protected by some of the top-rated insurance companies. This offer won't last forever. So call 317-349-5212. 317-349-5212.
Just as you feel the effects of summertime heat, your house feels it too. Indiana Foundation Services knows this and is ready to help. With a lack of rain, the soil under your foundation shrinks and causes your home to settle. And then those random summertime rainstorms pouring through the cracked soil causes leaks in your basement that damage your home's health and value. And let's not forget the humidity festering in your crawl space, making it nasty and unreliable. You'll know this is happening to your home when you notice cracks in your walls or exterior brick, uneven floors, doors and windows that stick, while mold and musty smells lurk just below. Not good. Indiana Foundation Services can help you protect and repair your most valuable investment, your home. With foundation, basement, and crawl space solutions delivered at the highest level of expertise, Indiana Foundation Services offers free, no-obligation inspections and financing plans at every budget. Visit IndianaFoundation.com and schedule your free inspection today.
Indiana Foundation Service, reliability from the ground up.
Here's Terry Stacy to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
Hope you can come out and join Hammer and Nigel as they broadcast live for a Beer Sample Friday on August 5th at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus from 3 until 6 p.m. The guys will have plenty of fun and a whole lot of laughs, too. Also, tune in all week on their show for a chance to win a pair of Indiana State Fair tickets and take in all the excitement and fantastic State Fair food.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel here. Join us at Thompson Furniture in Columbus this Friday, 3 o'clock. Come by for your chance to win a Stearns & Foster mattress, a Lazy Boy recliner, Yeti gear, all for coming by to see us.
It's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to.
He's done more for science than Dr. Fauci ever has. I'm talking about Hammer from the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC, joining us in the studio. Before we get to anything that you had on your mind, I wanted to let everybody know that the announcement that Ron DeSantis had has come down, and he is suspending the state attorney, Andrew Warren, for failing to prosecute abortions.
Oh, okay, perfect. So again, it comes back to
Who pledged not to prosecute abortions.
And again, that's fine. If that he thought that was the right thing to do. What I said is, when you're coming from the official account, which what is it, Christina Pushaw, I think is her name.
Mm-hmm.
When you start talking about liberal tears, now you're politicizing something that shouldn't be politicized. The guy should be out because he's not doing his job. But when you say, well, liberal tears, well, now you're making it a political thing on something that should be non-political.
Yeah. Well, it got our attention.
You know,
that's what they wanted.
I had a brilliant idea, Hammer, when I was in the lobby there. I was talking with Jake Query from the Query and Kevin and Query. His Kevin and Query show, which is the morning show on 107.5 The Fan. Boy, we're on top of this segment. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be great for a day if we just did like an old switcheroo on these radio stations? Like, let's say
we're going to talk sports.
Kendall and Casey go do the sports show, Hammer and Nigel and JMV switch places. Katz and Kevin and Query switch places. And we just put their hosts on our station and put us on theirs for a day and just see what happens.
They got to talk politics and we all talk sports.
Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal idea.
We do quite a bit of that anyway, though.
You always see those or used to, like in cartoons or the crossover episodes, like The Critic would be on The Simpsons or Family Guy would be on The Simpsons. I think this would be a phenomenal idea.
I like it.
Speaking of sports, I'm glad you bring this up. It's a great segue. I was just telling Casey, 29 years ago today, one of the great sports fights of all time took place.
Was this Nolan Ryan?
Robin Ventura makes the mistake of charging Nolan Ryan on the mound, and we got old man strength. We got old man punches. We had noogies. We had headlocks. We had punches. It was so good watching the old timer beat the snot out of the young kid.
And then he just kept going.
Nolan Ryan didn't get ejected.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just kept going. Like
Robin Ventura got hit with the pitch, charged the mound, got his ass whipped, and got ejected. Nolan Ryan stayed in the game.
And this is when umpiring used to be better because the umpires were like, you messed around and found out. Like you little young punk kid. Because remember Robin Ventura, wasn't he on Team USA Baseball? He was one of the top picks, if not the top pick in the draft. He was the next great thing. And the umps were like, you got what you deserved, and they just let the game continue.
As the kids would say, he wanted the smoke, and he got it. He absolutely got it. And Nolan Ryan is such an old school hard ass. Like, when you look at some of the great baseball injuries of all time, like, Nolan Ryan missed a start because he got bit by a coyote. Like, you don't see that in today's day and age. Like,
he's a lot of people's favorite player.
He is, because he's just an old red-ass Texan. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. He missed the start because he got bit by a coyote. That's up there with the urban legend, and I don't really think it's true or not, but there's an urban legend that John Smoltz injured himself ironing a shirt that he was wearing. Carlos Zambrano missed a start because he injured his thumb texting too much.
That's right. Carlos Zambrano once famously went ape, in the dugout with a baseball bat, and it's amazing none of his teammates were hit or injured in that process.
Oh, great moments in Carlos Zambrano brawl history. I was at this game. It was the Cubs and the Padres. It was a matinee at Wrigley Field. Derek Lee of the Cubs gets hit in the head.
Yeah.
Right? Next thing you know, people are chirping, and there's a good brawl. This isn't like the benches are clearing and there are shoves. There are punches. There are haymakers. Next thing you know, Carlos Zambrano's got his belt off, trying to swing it and beat people with it. He took his belt off like everybody's dad would do and was just beating the hell out of people.
Went to a fight and a baseball game broke out.
Yes, it was so good.
Casey, have you ever been to a ball game and a fight has broken out of any sort?
No, not a baseball game.
I've never been to a no-hitter. I've never seen a fight at a ball game. I have caught a foul ball at a ball game.
Really?
Yeah, at an Indians game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Of all places. And I kept it. I didn't give it to any kids.
I was almost at a game where a fight broke out, but I sent the associate instead, and that was the Bartman game.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
you turned down tickets to Game 6 of the NLCS?
Aren't I nice?
You are.
I
Look
gave
at
my
you.
ticket away to the associate so he could go.
So this was your fault.
He went with the former leprechaun of Notre Dame, who is now a priest.
That's no way to talk about Lou Holtz. Please, Casey, that's very inappropriate.
So yeah, I got my hands on those tickets, and
so this whole time we've been blaming Bartman and Bernie Mac. It's your fault.
Yeah,
you're the problem.
I
You
had
jinxed
nothing to
it.
do with it, but clearly fights nearly broke out at that game.
And there should have been.
Yeah.
That guy got off easy.
As he barely escaped the stadium.
I was at the Reds and Cardinals game with my dad when it was Yadier Molina and Brandon Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one, too.
So you've had multiple brawls.
Yeah. So the question becomes, like, if you're a baseball fan or maybe just a casual sports fan, what would you rather see? A legit bench-clearing brawl? And I'm not talking about benches clearing.
Right.
I'm talking about haymakers and that kind of stuff. Good stuff, or a no-hitter.
No-hitter. Not even close.
Oh, I'd rather see a fight.
All right, so let's go around the horn here. Rob, why no-hitter?
Because it is historic. You don't see them very often. I could not throw a no-hitter. I could get in a fight. I could get my ass beat in a fight.
Rob could see a guy getting beat up at home. Casey, you would rather see the fight.
I'd rather see the fight because to me, baseball games are just an open air bar with thousands of my closest friends. So I might as well be entertained, and the fight would do that.
Okay, all right.
Coming up this afternoon.
You're going to come by, Rob, and
right.
we're going to go off the rails. We got a lot of stuff to get to.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
I'll give your love, girl, to whoever you choose. How can you lose with the stuff you use? Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
This is Malia with Family Heating and Air, and just wanted to say our techs are the best trained in the business. We've got our own training facility in our office that we built out, the furnaces, ACs, heat pumps, air handlers out there. And we've also got virtual reality training set up for them so they can do that weekly, constantly working on making sure we give you the best service with our best techs.
317-577-8077. Family Heating and Air Conditioning is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. Save big this first week of August. 30% off all nursery stock this week at Sundown Gardens. That means save 30% off container shrubs and trees. Bald and burlap stock also included at 30% off. Save big now and enjoy your new shrubs and trees in your yard this fall. Find out everything Sundown Gardens has going on by following them on Facebook and Instagram. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com. That's sundown.gardens.com.
Ever get those midday cravings, but you can't decide what to snack on? With over 6,000 fresh, healthy, irresistible snacks, Nuts.com has you covered. A family-run business since 1929, Nuts.com has provided the freshest, highest quality snacks and foods for almost 100 years. Don't be fooled by the name. We offer a wide variety of the most delicious dried fruits, sweets, trail mixes, and more. All our snacks are carefully sourced to ensure we're offering the freshest ingredients on the market. We get cream-of-the-crop top picks from America's best farmers, colossal-sized nuts, and fruit bursting with full flavor and ample nutrients. Our nuts are roasted daily, and we ship fast for ultimate freshness you can't get anywhere else. Right now, first-time customers can get free shipping on their orders. That's free shipping on your first order by visiting Nuts.com today. Don't wait to satisfy those cravings. Go to Nuts.com for the freshest, tastiest snacks you and your family will love.
The Great Resignation is a new and demanding challenge for employers. Beyond recruiting and retaining talented employees, you must understand their changing needs for personalized, non-traditional employee benefits. If you approach and deliver your benefit program as you did a decade ago, McGowan Brabender can help. We are reimagining the employee benefit journey to meet this challenge. It's time to thrive, not just survive. Contact McGowan Brabender to learn more.
Smart drivers know with regular service from the trusted team at Honda of Fishers, they'll get lasting enjoyment from their Honda. From oil changes to tire rotations to brake service and more, Honda of Fishers has you covered. Visit HondaofFishers.com to schedule today.
Singer Financial can show you how retirement could support the life you want to live. Are you ready? Go to SingerFinancialGroup.com to learn more.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what Jackie Walorski is best remembered for, plus a fire this morning at a downtown apartment complex. And your senator is concerned about a lack of oversight in regards to organ transplants. That and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. Brittany Griner convicted in court in Russia.
I'm Dave Anthony. The verdict was handed down minutes ago. We're still awaiting sentencing. A prosecutor's pushing for 9.5 years in prison for the American basketball star who's in a cage in that Russian court and said earlier today,
I pled guilty to my charges. I understand everything that's being said against me, the charges that are against me.
They were drug charges. Griner had cannabis oil vape cartridges in her luggage at an airport in February.
But I had no intent to break any Russian laws.
The U.S. and Russia are considering a prisoner swap to free Griner and another American, Paul Whelan, an accused spy. It looks and sounds a lot like war near Taiwan. China is conducting military drills in the air and sea all around the island nation it claims is its territory. Angry over House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's trip there, Republican Senator Marco Rubio tells Fox China is being clear.
Part of it is to send a very clear signal to leaders in Taiwan and to military leaders in Taiwan, and that is if we decide to take you by force, you won't be able to stop us.
But the Biden administration insists U.S. policy on China and Taiwan has not changed. Speaker Pelosi is in Japan after a visit to South Korea following her Taiwan stop. A jury in Florida is on a field trip this morning as it considers whether Nicholas Cruz should get the death penalty for murdering 17 students and adults in 2018. They've arrived at that high school in Parkland, which still has bloodstains.
Those jurors will visit the campus building where everything happened, where they are expected to walk hallways and enter classrooms. That building, one of many on the campus, remains closed.
Fox's Evan Brown. The day before we get an update on hiring and unemployment for July, we found out that first-time jobless claims in the U.S. rose to 260,000 last week. And on Wall Street, we're seeing a bit of selling. The Dow's down 40 points. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What she fought most for. Spotty rain showers on radar, 74 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Congresswoman Jackie Walorski was passionate about many things, including defending the unborn.
And I think that every child has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
She also fought for dignity for families of military members who were killed in active duty, among other things. Walorski was killed in a car accident Wednesday afternoon in Elkhart. She was 2 weeks shy of her 59th birthday. At the Canal Square Apartments downtown, a fire in one of the apartments on the West Street facility near a military park. Residents evacuated as one firefighter described the situation as chaotic. It's not clear yet how the fire started. A woman got out of her car in Terre Haute with her child and was punched by another woman.
And the woman who threw the punch was arrested. I'm John Herrick. Raisha Stevens was in court Wednesday and charged with 2 counts of battery. WTHI says Stevens punched both the woman and the 2-year-old child as they were both getting out of a car. Investigators are trying to figure out why Stevens acted that way. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Imagine you're due for a kidney transplant, only to find out that the donor kidney you were supposed to get was thrown away in transit. That happened to 2 kidneys in Indiana back in 2020. Senator Todd Young has a personal interest in improving the organ donation process.
To find out there was seemingly very little I could do. I'd scrutinize an existing system that was highly opaque.
Young was part of a congressional investigation into that process in which he says they found several incidents of mistakes and even negligence with donated organs. He's urging better oversight. Alexander Rossi gets to keep his win in the IndyCar Gallagher Grand Prix at IMS from this past weekend, but his team is being fined $25,000 and Rossi is being docked 20 championship points because his car failed post-race inspection. IndyCar found that Rossi's car was under the minimum post-race weight limit. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Everything is more expensive these days. Gas, groceries, you name it. One thing you can't put a price on is peace of mind, which is why I am a AAA member. I remember one day I got to work, my battery died in my car. AAA was there within 40 minutes, put a new one in, and I was on my way. Whether it's a flat tire, dead battery, you run out of gas, AAA is there 24/7. And if you're a AAA member, you can get discounts on all sorts of stuff, hotels, rental cars, restaurants. My AAA membership is even going to get me into the Indiana State Fair for free on AAA Day on August 17th.
So if peace of mind on the road combined with more dollars in your pocket sounds like something that you'd be interested in, join AAA today. To get your AAA membership, visit AAA.com, call 844-GO-AAA-GO, or stop by your local AAA office. And don't forget to save the date for AAA Day at the Indiana State Fair, Wednesday, August 17th. AAA members get in free. Details at AAA.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, August 4th, and things that are trending this hour. Russian prosecutors are seeking 9.5 years prison time for Brittany Griner as her trial ended and she was found guilty. Also trending, the NFL. They're appealing an independent decision to suspend Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson for 6 games.
Okay, time out on that.
Yeah.
Because I have a question about this.
Okay.
This seems unfair to you, and I get that because it involves unions, that this is a negotiated collective bargaining agreement between the players and the owners. But in this appeal, so there was a neutral arbiter who made the ruling. Deshaun Watson, for those of you who may not be aware, is the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, just earlier this year had signed the richest contract in NFL history. He had previously been accused of getting frisky,
Inappropriate actions
with upwards of 30 massage therapists. Almost all of those have now been settled out of court. There were no criminal charges filed, but as part of the league's personal conduct policy, he had to go in front of this arbiter. He made his case, the league made their case, and the arbiter suspended him for 6 games. We talked about this at length the other day, but just to get people up to speed who may not have heard that. Now there is an appeal process. So when the arbiter rules, either side, the National Football League or the Players Association, can appeal that ruling, which makes sense. However, the appeal is to the commissioner or someone of his designation. Now, again, I get that the players agreed to this in their collective bargaining, and we assume they got something back to have this little kangaroo court as the option. But the commissioner works for the owners. He works for the league. And you're going to have a guy who works for the league be the appeal person on a league-related matter?
Well, they're appealing possibly to get him a stiffer penalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The league wanted him suspended for a year and like upwards of an $8 million fine or something of that nature. But they're appealing. Mm-hmm. The commissioner now will either hear this appeal or someone that he designates will hear this appeal. I have no idea. There has to be a reason the players agreed to this, because how would you get a fair hearing? He works for the league. He's the commissioner of the National Football League, who's the one who wants him suspended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Am I missing something?
No.
Okay.
You got it. Your question is?
I mean, we didn't know. Why would the players have agreed to this? There has to be. They must have got something in those negotiations to do that, because this seems like the most unfair. You had the fair process. This woman who was a former, I believe, federal judge was the arbiter, heard the case, heard the facts, issued the ruling. I get there has to be an appeals process, but you don't have a neutral person.
Right. How could Roger Goodell be neutral?
Right.
I see what you're saying.
It's not even his fault. He works for the league.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens.
So I didn't mean to derail that, but that has bothered me from the beginning.
Finally trending this morning, Ron DeSantis, he is suspending his state attorney who refused to enforce abortion bans. That was the big news coming out of Florida. It's 9 minutes after 11. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. We've got Abdul on deck.
Yes. So Abdul joined us earlier today because it is amendment of Palooza today at the State House in regards to the abortion bill.
How many amendments?
It's in the House, 86 amendments. There will be 86 amendments heard today in regards to the abortion bill.
Now, are they going to wait? Are they going to have a delay and wait until after midnight? Or,
Well, we will see. I've checked for clarification. They had not started as of 11 a.m. They were supposed to start at 9. Now it's 11. This is exactly what happened in the Senate, where it ended up being like a 4 or 5 hour delay. So there were 62 amendments in the Senate, and they were not able to get done on time, which is why they ultimately had to come back on a Saturday and vote on it. So still all sorts of just confusion and lack of clarity going on. But I did want to talk with Abdul because this Kansas abortion vote by the voters who voted to keep essentially abortion rights in the Kansas Constitution, or right to abortion in the Kansas Constitution, came down. So I was curious how that might impact the lawmakers, and there's just a lot of moving parts. I thought Abdul would be the perfect person because nobody knows the State House like Abdul. Here's a conversation. All right, Abdul, there was a big vote on abortion in Kansas this week. I think it surprised a lot of people. Voters essentially said we want to keep abortion rights in our state constitution. Kansas is a red state. Are Republican lawmakers paying attention to this? Will it factor in to the abortion discussion playing out in the House of Representatives right now?
I think it will in sort of an indirect manner, because what you got to understand is Kansas is a very red state, but the people who are pushing the amendment in their constitution to take away abortion rights almost kind of got too cute by half. Because they'd say, number one, let's do it during a primary where fewer people come out then in a general election, number one. Number two, it was the most confusing wording of any amendment I've ever seen.
Oh, boy, you mean like school referendums. Oh, put it on in a primary. Nobody understands what it says. Boy, sure, it seems like we've been here before.
And but what did it for me was the fact that 727,000 people voted in the Kansas Republican and Democratic primary. 727,000. However, more than 900 came out and voted for the referendum.
Yes.
So that's almost an extra 200,000 people that showed up.
And most of those people were probably voting no.
Exactly, because remember, the referendum failed 60-40.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
And they thought, based on polling, it was going to pass. The polling had showed like 47-43.
Yeah, the polling showed it was going to be real close, but they had a ton of new voters showed up, and a lot of those voters came from sort of the eastern portion of Kansas. Western portion is a lot more rural.
Yeah,
where you only had like 1,000 people come out and vote. Well, that's fine, but in Topeka, Kansas, there are 100,000.
Sure.
People.
Well, it's the same issue you have in Indiana. Marion County and Lake County. Some of your other Evansville areas can, if you get a swarm of Democrats to show up to vote, they can counteract things that happen in the suburbs.
Exactly. But it was the suburbs that actually did it for the Kansas referendum. The suburbs, I want to say Johnson County, which is a suburb of Kansas City, Missouri, Overland Park, Kansas, where my best friend's parents live, is like a 1/5 of the population lives. The voting population lives in Johnson County. They won like 71%. And also, what's also interesting too is when you try to get someone said like some fake text message thing. When you get too cute by half, as my mother used to say, when you do wrong follow you.
Okay, so obviously this goes down, but there's a big difference between asking voters you want to put something in as it relates to the Constitution, and do you want to pass some restrictions on abortion. You and I, when we recorded the award-winning State House Happenings earlier today, I said right now, in terms of the process by which this is played out, I would give our state legislature an absolute total big fat F. Not just the embarrassment of the stuff that has happened on the floor, the endless caucusing behind closed doors, the hours and hours of delays, but also I think the bigger part is, and you and I have talked about this, the unwillingness of many of these legislators in both the House and the Senate, men and women alike, to man up, have conversations with their constituents, own their views, and listen to other people. You and I both know many people who have, it's almost been impossible to get a hold of these lawmakers. Some of these are very non-political people, and that's embarrassing because they work for us.
And the thing is, if you're whether you're for it, against it, or not sure, I think you have a responsibility to let your constituents know, like, hey, here's where I am right now. I'm here to listen, to hear what your concerns are, what other constituents' concerns are, and then try to make the best decision possible, not only for you, but for the state of Indiana. That's all you got to, at the very least, just pay them lip service.
Why? Yeah, why are they so afraid? Your view is your view. I'm certainly not afraid to tell you my views. I'm a broadcaster. shouldn't the lawmaker who's actually voting on things say, look, here's my view, and if you don't like it, then there are elections and there are ways to deal with that, and reasonable people can disagree, and here's my view. I mean, the idea that they're running from people is embarrassing.
Well, some politicians have a spine and some are jellyfish.
We told this story yesterday about you and I both know this person. They're a very prominent member of the media here in central Indiana, but they're not a political person. And they wrote their senator and House member, and they said, hey, look, I would like to ask you not as a member of the media. I would like to ask you as a taxpayer, law-abiding citizen who can vote in this state. I would like to have a 5-minute conversation with you about this. And finally, the senator's office got back to this person, and they said, well, we needed to run it through comms because you work for X media agency, and we're not going to do that. And it's like, so now this person has no representation because of who their employer is, when they're not saying, I'm going to broadcast this, I'm not saying I'm going to talk about this. They don't even talk politics in what they do. That's pathetic that this person has no representation because of who they work for. This is not how our system of governance should work.
True, but at the same time, though, sometimes being a member of the media is actually kind of helpful in getting stuff done.
Well, that's fine.
Because I can call us a constituent.
It's not you, Abdul. It's not, look, I know my state senator, John Crane, is totally petrified and afraid of me. I know my state senator, John Crane, has given his staff, because I've heard from one of his former staffers, that he has given them specific instructions not to engage with me. That sucks. I'm being robbed of representation. But look, I'm a big boy. I'm Rob Kendall. I bring the heat. I get it. People who are just regular people should not be punished based on who their employer is. And this is embarrassing, the way these Republicans are behaving on an issue they've been campaigning on for years.
That's why, like I mentioned during State House happenings, it would have been better had they just taken the 4 weeks, or the 4 months rather, to hold the public hearings, do it right, and do it the right way, as opposed to trying to rush it, do it fast, and get it wrong and make everybody mad.
Abdul is with us. A couple of minutes left here as we talk about what's going on with abortion. It is in front of the Indiana House today. Today is Amendment to Palooza, right?
Yes. It is what's called second reading amendments. That means that any member of the House can offer amendments to the legislation. You have 100 members, so it's going to be a fun day.
This also could be known as the John Jacob Curtin Isley Revenge Tour. Have you heard anything? I have no doubt those guys have plenty of plans to make life incredibly difficult on many of their coworkers. What are you hearing today in terms of what might be offered amendment-wise?
Total ban, prison. Total ban, prison. Total ban. Did I say prison?
Well, okay, so how does it work over at the House? Because the senators are 50 senators. So while there were 62 amendments, there were only 50 senators. There's 100 members of the House. That Senate thing took hours and hours and hours. Is this going to be like twice as long because there's twice as many people?
It could be. But usually what they come in about 9. They came in about 9 o'clock this morning. And so probably what they did was caucus, because they had to go through all the amendments, see where everybody sort of is.
In fact, they could still be caucusing as this is airing.
Yeah. And then what's interesting is what they will do is they will caucus, and then they'll agree what amendments will come down or what amendments won't come down. But then you got the Jacob and Isley, sort of the X factors and all that.
Yeah,
and all
I like
that too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't expect them to be done until late this evening.
If you had to predict when we meet again here on this very fabulous radio show a week from today, which will be Thursday.
Which will be the 12th, I think?
The 11th.
The 11th, yeah, because they've got until the 14th to get out of here.
Will there be a deal on abortion? Will we have an abortion bill, or will we still be talking about them negotiating?
I think we'll still be talking about them negotiating.
Okay, what's coming up this Saturday, 1 to 3 on Abdul at Large?
Speaking to Destiny Wells, a Democratic candidate for Secretary of State. Also, Eric Berman and I will be chatting just about the week in review. And your personal favorite economist, Michael Hicks.
Oh, yes, boy, He's really on top of everything. Can't wait for that. Tell him I said hello.
Will do.
Amongst many other things. And the one and only Abdullah keeps you boss. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, thank you.
93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey Show.
Unprecedented things.
Extreme heat. Historic situation. A record year for violent crime.
Concerning things.
Biden's border crisis. Run. Shooter. Your schools, they suck.
The life of an unborn child.
Life-changing things.
Republican abortion ban bill.
Because I believe they're human beings.
They're not listening. They don't care.
Rapidly, things are happening.
We ought to know what's in the bill.
It's important to keep up.
I don't know what's in the bill.
They knew what was happening.
Things are happening on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel here for my friends at Window Nation. Back to school time is here. Window Nation could help you get an A+ in savings right now. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, plus 0% interest until 2024. As temperatures soar, so do your energy bills with old, inefficient windows. Stay cool, lower those bills, and raise the value of your home with new Energy Star efficient windows.
Window Nation has expertly installed over 1 million windows in over 150,000 homes. Now it's your turn to make the smart choice and go to the head of the class. Get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. There's no limit. Plus 0% interest until 2024. Set up a free in-home consultation today. You'll save big during Window Nation's back-to-school sale. Call today. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
It's the perfect time to focus on those things you can control. You can choose to design your retirement. Brian Singer can help you do that. Visit SingerFinancialGroup.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a mean guy.
And Casey Daniels.
She's the nicest person I've ever met.
On 93 WIBC.
Ted Cruz was questioning the Assistant Attorney General on why the DOJ hasn't arrested hundreds of people who broke federal laws. He's wondering if this is selective enforcement by the DOJ. It's 22 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
There is good Ted Cruz and there is smarmy bad Ted Cruz.
Is smarmy bad Ted Cruz the one who got on a plane?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, and this is in many ways, Cruz is a tragic Shakespearean character because the good Ted Cruz possesses all of the credentials and qualities necessary to be a phenomenal president. Unfortunately, there is the very smarmy side of Ted Cruz, which will prohibit him from likely ever being president. But in this case, we got a great example of good Ted Cruz pointing out, and essentially, look, they are the Justice Department, et cetera, is going to the ends of the earth to find every person that was remotely involved with January 6th. They will not stop. There is no stone left unturned. And they are doing everything they can to ruin Donald Trump's life and try to put him, in federal prison. Yet they're doing almost absolutely nothing to these lunatics who protest in front of homes and threaten the Supreme Court justices. And I just thought this was a really great back and forth.
These protesters committed federal crimes on national television. Why has the Department of Justice refused to enforce 18 U.S.C. Section 1507?
Senator, very recently, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland, in fact, has prosecuted a defendant for unlawful conduct in front of the home of one of our Supreme Court justices.
So one person?
To date, there has been one prosecution.
And what about the hundreds of others? All of whom have violated the law. On the face of it, it's not complicated. The law is very clear. Why does the Department of Justice pick and choose which laws to enforce, which criminal laws to enforce, and why does it seem to exactly follow the pattern of the partisan preferences of the Biden White House?
Again, Senator, politics should play and does not play any role in our prosecutorial decisions. What I will also add is that our Attorney General has increased the U.S. Marshal Service's resources
but
that
why
are brought
has there
to bear
been only
to
one
protect our Supreme
prosecution
Court's
under Section
justices.
1507? Why have there not been any others?
Senator,
does the department believe the law is unconstitutional? And if not, why are you refusing to enforce it?
Respectfully, Senator, I disagree that we've chosen not to enforce it. Again, there's been one prosecution of a
out of
defendant.
hundreds. What about the rest of the hundreds?
Senator, again, I cannot comment on the current status of potential investigations in this area.
Final.
One prosecution.
Yeah.
Wrong is wrong, regardless of your political affiliation.
It is the federal government has weaponized itself. It's been going on for a long time, and Snowden showed a lot of this, as did Julian Assange. The federal government has weaponized itself against regular citizens, and you're seeing it once again, in which they will go to the ends of the earth for anyone that they think they could make a case against for January 6th, not lifting a finger for anything that happened in rioting all across this country in 2020, and now doing very little against people who were threatening Supreme Court justices.
Selective enforcement. Yep. It's 25 minutes after 11. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. And quickly, I want to get to this because we were just talking about this yesterday about Duke Energy asking for a price hike and the price of electricity, the price of energy going up even more. One could say it's a crisis.
Yes.
It's an emergency because we like to use that word a lot.
My wallet is an emergency. Thank you.
Yes. It's about to have an emergency. And Jennifer Granholm has an answer.
Oh.
She's the energy secretary, and here's what she has to say.
You know what? These upward spiraling prices of fossil fuels are exactly why we have to transition to a clean economy. Because, I mean, my counterpart in Ireland, Minister Ryan, often says no country has ever been held hostage to access to the sun or access to the wind. So let's build our own energy security, all of us, at home so that we are not held hostage.
She lives on Treasure Island. Isn't that the one where Peter Pan was? Was it Treasure Island? Was that the one with Peter Pan and Tinkerbell? And because as we laid out earlier in the show, if you missed it, go back and listen. By the way, you can go back and watch it over at YouTube. You watch the whole show there. For the guy that I met at the car repair shop the other day, who had the horrific experience of trying to drive a Tesla any sort of distance. And what you ran into was an 11-hour trip that took 18 hours because he had to keep stopping to charge the thing. The amount to charge it there was no noticeable difference between what gas was. He couldn't put as much stuff in the car as he wanted because the charge goes down dramatically.
And the more people in the car.
Exactly. And that's okay.
The more it sucks the charge.
That's fine. It's a work in progress, Casey, and that's fine. And if you want to own a work in progress, which a Tesla or these electric cars are, God bless you. Go for it. Nobody here is saying you shouldn't be able to own them. The problem is when people's lives are being ruined based on these green fetishes that Buttigieg and Granholm and Biden and all these people have, in which the cars, because I think it's safe to say Tesla is probably the top of the line of what we're dealing with, does not meet the needs of many Americans, especially people who have to do any sort of traveling. There's a huge difference between saying if you want it, have it. We'll continue to work on it. Maybe we'll get it to where it serves the needs of mainstream America in an affordable fashion. But right now it's not, and you're making decisions based on these things that do not do the job.
And where do we think the energy is coming from to charge these cars?
Right, great question.
Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC 1128. Good morning.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. Are your energy bills starting to scare you? Why don't you take back your budget by upgrading to a Trane HVAC system today? Did you know you can save up to 64% off your current heating and cooling costs? Well, you can. And as a former HVAC contractor myself, it really is hard to stop a train because their systems literally provide intuitive comfort. Want to learn more? Call Precision Comfort Systems at 317-867-2554, or you can find them at precisioncomfort.com.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
8 years ago, we started climbing mountains to raise dollars and awareness for children battling cancer. Over the years, we've summited some amazing peaks, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for our partners. On August 13th, we head down to South America for our biggest climb yet. Chimborazo is over 20,000 feet tall, and we are climbing it to raise money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Learn more about our climbs and make a donation today by visiting keepclimbingfoundation.org.
At Diamonds Direct, nobody tells our story better than our own associates.
I hear from customers that come in how shocked they are. They're able to, only with Diamonds Direct, afford a diamond that they never in their wildest dreams thought they'd be able to get.
People are just thrilled with what we offer.
We have exponentially more to choose from. The resources that we have all the way from our wholesale roots, really untouchable.
When you come here to Diamonds Direct, you know it's something special. You know it's something that is one of a kind, and you got that at such a phenomenal value.
To be a jeweler and have this kind of firepower, we have all these mountings, all this selection, all these diamonds, and incredible prices is just unmatched.
And I think our customers appreciate that we are so open and honest about every part of this process.
What they're surprised by is the extent that we go to provide an unparalleled, luxurious shopping experience.
This company has a 60-year heritage in diamond cutting, diamond mining, diamond wholesaling. So there's no possible way to get any closer to the source than with Diamonds Direct.
We won't be undersold.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real STIHL. Find yours at stihlusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real STIHL. Find yours at stihlusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
Right now, it's a seller's market. It's Terry Stacy for Crest Point Real Estate. Get your free home value estimate in 60 seconds at callcrestpoint.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A wish for mercy. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Brittany Griner back in a Russian courtroom today. Fox's Amy Kellogg.
WNBA star Brittany Griner made a plea before a Russian court today for forgiveness, taking ownership of her transgression, taking cannabis oil into Russia, but insisting it was an honest mistake committed in haste. The prosecution has asked for 9.5 years. Hopes at this point are more pinned on a possible prisoner exchange, perhaps. Amy Kellogg, Fox News.
A jury in Texas is deciding the fate of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who uses InfoWars talk show to claim the Sandy Hook school shooting was a hoax. Jones has already been found guilty of defamation. This part of the trial is to determine how much he will have to pay the victims' families. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Just like to thank Dark Rogue in the chat room, who is putting off his lunch break until we go off the air. That's why we love our listeners. If you'd like to watch along, you can on YouTube. Just put Kendall and Casey, WIBC, in the search bar. It is 11:34, and President Biden signed an executive order that paves the way for Medicaid to pay for abortion services for people having to travel out of the state.
The number one thing the number one job the president has is to uphold and defend the laws and the Constitution of the United States of America. And this president has time and again, I mean, go all the way back to when he did the COVID shot mandate. I mean, he essentially said, well, immigration was the first one he did, where he basically said, well, it's probably not going to hold up in court, but I'll give it a shot. And then he did the same thing with the shot, and that didn't hold up in court either. And when you have a president who is doing things based on, well, maybe I'll get lucky and a judge will let it stay. That's not how we should be governed. That's not how Democrats should want to be governed. It's not how Republicans should want to be governed. It's not how any American should want to be governed. And this president is clearly in violation of the Hyde Amendment, which says federal funds cannot be used for abortion. Mm-hmm. But just like with immigration, just like with the vaccine mandate, Biden is saying, well, screw the law, screw the oath that I took. I'm going to do this because I want to, and maybe I'll get lucky and we'll get a bad legal ruling and I'll get to do it. And so when you are paying people, essentially, to travel for, well, not essentially, you're paying people to travel for abortion. You're using federal money, Medicaid money, for abortion. Mm-hmm. And it's just amazing to me when they get asked about this, how little regard this administration has for the law. Look, there's lots of laws I don't like, but I still follow them because they're the law. And Corinne Jean-Pierre got asked about this, which essentially they're crapping all over federal law, and you just get a bunch of words, but no answer to the question.
Let me just clear it up just one final time. Yeah. So on the going back to the first question, on the Medicaid, on the proposal to have Medicaid fund travel expenses for women seeking abortion, how would that not violate Hyde if it's using taxpayer dollars to pay for abortions?
This EO will not violate the Hyde Amendment. It is law, and we follow the law here.
Okay.
It's law. We follow the law. But how did you follow it? It's the law, and we follow the law.
Executive order. That's what it is. So we've redefined what a woman is. We're redefining what recession is. Now we're just flat out redefining laws.
It is exhausting. And maybe it's just because of what we've gone through the last 2 years. I'm sure this has been going on for a long time. But it is exhausting to see individuals in executive positions of power, whether it's Lockdown McGee here, which, by the way, has anybody heard Lockdown McGee say anything about abortion? Do we know where he's at all still on this? I mean, we are 30 days into the session total, 11 days with lawmakers being here. It's cleared one chamber of the legislature. And does anybody know what our governor's position on abortion is? Like, would he sign the Senate bill? Would he sign what currently exists as a House bill now? Is he like actively, I mean, he's not actively publicly, but I mean, in any shape, form, or what is our governor doing?
Yeah. He hasn't said.
But yet when it came to shutting down businesses,
he was on it.
When it came to putting 1 million people out of work, when it came to trying to put you in jail for not wearing a mask, Eric Holcomb and Dr. Bach's gynecologist, the failed health commissioner for the state of Indiana, couldn't sprint to podiums fast enough on a weekly basis to have their mugs in front of a camera. Think about that, Casey. When it came to shutting down businesses, putting people out of work, trying to put you in jail for not wearing a mask, our governor every week for hours was in front of a camera making his position to destroy the state as known to as many people as humanly possible. But when it comes to abortion, well, I've got a chamber event to be at. I've got a state fair to attend. I can't be bothered to give you my opinion on abortion. The point on all this is I'm so sick of these people in executive power who take oaths to uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of the land, not doing their jobs.
But then they change it when it's good for them. Her answer is laughable, by the way, that she says we follow the law here, except for the president's son. Except for this.
And then it gets worse because, you know, whatever your opinion on abortion is about how legal it should be, there should be a consensus that it is a horrific act. It is violent. It does harm the child. And, you know, Bill Clinton, it was safe, legal, and rare. Rare being the key word. Now, Corinne Jean-Pierre describes Biden's order as paving the way for people to have on-demand abortions.
Look, I mean, just to, it's really important what this is going to do. It's going to help, in particular, low-income women, right? If you think about it, it paves the way for Medicaid to pay for abortions for women having to travel out of state. Secretary Becerra will invite states to apply for Medicaid waivers to allow them to provide reproductive health care to women who live in states where abortions are banned. Those he judged to be the strongest and most effective on both legal and policy grounds. That's what the president is doing. He's reviewing the options that he has.
So your tax dollars are now going to help with someone else's bad choices.
Yeah.
I'd like to go make some bad choices, Rob.
Great.
You know what? I'd like to disappear, go on a bender maybe on a tropical island.
I like it. Keep going.
Federal government going to pay for that? Because it's I can't help myself. Maybe I'm having mental issues. Maybe there's alcoholism there. So I didn't mean to do it. It's just what happened. So now I need help with these bad choices. I mean, somebody else to pay for it.
The level of bad government we are willing to accept. And this is always what has amazed me, Casey. Like when I was on Facebook actively, I used to enjoy reading like the towny chatter sites. They all have them. Brownsburg, Carmel, they've all got these little towny chatter sites where if you got your order screwed up at your local fast food restaurant, you would sprint to the nearest town. People would sprint to the nearest towny chatter board to make sure how outraged you were over not getting your bean burrito. And that enrages you. But when you are used and taken advantage of and crapped on a daily basis by your elected officials, well, just that's just the way it is. It's just, it's politics, it's government. Why do you treat your fast food order as being more important than how you're treated by elected officials? Why is that? What happened in our society that a fast food order was more important to some people than how they're treated by their government?
Do you think any of this is fear? Because look what the government did here in the state of Indiana. They shut businesses down.
I think we are a state and a country driven by very power-hungry people who are generally, in many cases, unqualified to do much of anything. And they have found the one thing that they can be good at because they have the ability, often through sizable donations and money from people who want something, to manipulate others. And ultimately, they don't grow in a seed in the back of Holcomb's palatial taxpayer-funded estate. We put them there. And whether it's Holcomb who did it, or the General Assembly who allows him to do it, or the General Assembly who is making a mockery of our state right now through this joke of a process they're calling a special session, we allow it. And a whole bunch of people right now who are hearing my voice will go, he's right. And you know what they'll do? They'll go in there and pull the lever for the same person because they'll justify going, well, it's not my representative. It's not my senator. It's someone else's. Newsflash, for the vast, vast, vast majority of you, it is your rep. It is your senator. It is your governor. It is the people you pull the lever for. Stop pulling the lever for them.
My longtime rep, one of the good ones, passed away yesterday, and we're going to talk about that again coming up. But quickly, I wanted to mention this poll, Rob.
Yes.
This Trafalgar Group survey, where they found out that most Americans have a low opinion of government bureaucracies.
Yes, I love this.
Such as the CDC and the IRS.
This is great.
They deem them as being too big and politically motivated. This is like my shocked face.
But you
needed a poll for this?
Yeah, so this was...
it was the Trafalgar Group.
Yes.
Yep.
The majority of Americans have huge issues with the CDC, the IRS, et cetera. But yet, we keep voting. 58.5% believe those federal bureaucracies, quote, have grown too large and only serve their own political interests. Yet we keep voting for the same people. Chuck Grassley in Iowa, senator, is 88 damn years old, and he is up for re-election. And he will not only win, Casey, he will win overwhelmingly. We keep voting for the same people. Nadler, the guy in New York. Tony played a clip from him yesterday where the dude could barely string 3 words together in a coherent sentence. Democrat representative from New York. He'll win, and he'll probably win overwhelmingly. We keep sending the same people back, and yet we're outraged at the result.
Only a third of Americans believe they actually serve the American people and are useful and effective.
No kidding. You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Yet you keep reelecting the same people who make these bureaucracies great big.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
3 o'clock today on the Hammer and Nigel show. More on the tragic passing of Representative Walorski. Rob Kendall will join us as well. 93 WIBC.
Smart homeowners know that proper maintenance of their home's AC can save a bundle in the long run. Trust our comfort specialists at 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to keep your AC running strong. A proactive tune-up can actually help your AC run more efficiently and save you money on your electric bill. Call 855-1-HOUR or visit onehourair.com. We won't leave you waiting. Sing it with me.
Always on time or you don't pay it time. Always on time or you don't pay it time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Meet Edwina. She loves summers in Indy, but hates to paint year after year, so she called Rhino Shield.
So over the years, I had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard. But Rhino Shield was right on it.
Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, the beach is just the beginning. Because here, there's so much more to explore. So let's paddle, and maybe even parasail. Let's hit the trails, the coffee shops, the quaint boutiques, and craft breweries. And then let's indulge in some fresh seafood with a sea view. From the Gulf Coast to the Bay, there's something for every taste and every interest. So let's make the most of every sun-drenched minute, and let's shine. Start planning your next escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. Save big this first week of August. 30% off all nursery stock this week at Sundown Gardens. That means save 30% off container shrubs and trees. Bald and burlap stock also included at 30% off. Save big now and enjoy your new shrubs and trees in your yard this fall. Find out everything Sundown Gardens has going on by following them on Facebook and Instagram. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com. That's sundown.gardens.com.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell and Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122 or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell and Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Here's Terry Stacy to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
Hope you can come out and join Hammer and Nigel as they broadcast live for a Beer Sample Friday on August 5th at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus from 3 until 6 p.m. The guys will have plenty of fun and a whole lot of laughs, too. Also, tune in all week on their show for a chance to win a pair of Indiana State Fair tickets and take in all the excitement and fantastic State Fair food.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Indiana Rep. Jackie Walorski and 3 others were killed yesterday afternoon in a car crash in her district. That was District 2. She was traveling on County Road 19 in Napanee. This is between Wakarusa and Napanee, and you have to understand that stretch of County Road is very busy, a lot of truck traffic. The road is littered with cornfields, churches, Rise and Roll Bakery, and Hunter's Hideaway. Napanee's population is about 2,000, so it's a small town. And this is 10 miles southeast of South Bend. I know this because I spent a lot of time in that area, 25 years. And Jackie Walorski was my rep for a good portion of that time. I recall her being fun-loving, positive, very energetic. She's outspoken and direct, has a lot of conviction in her purpose. And she really was the first local politician that I truly became aware of and interested in. Somebody that I knew by name. I knew what she looked like. I knew what she stood for. And conversely, she knew everybody's name. It was part of her commanding presence. And without being insensitive, I want to ask this question because I know a lot of people have her and the other people who perished yesterday in that awful, tragic accident in their thoughts and in their minds.
Yes.
But where do we go from here, Rob?
So this was very confusing, and luckily I am highly dedicated to our audience and the truth. And the WIBC News Department was very helpful in this process, too, because we went around and around on it. And I think we now have a consensus on this, which is here's how this will work. So there will be a caucus called of the precinct committeemen in her current district, because we got to remember the districts got redrawn because of the census. So there will be a caucus of Republican precinct committeemen. They're the people who run the polling location on election day, things of that nature. And they will caucus in someone to finish her term for this year. So her term was up. U.S. reps serve 2-year terms and then run for re-election. So that's one side of it. So these however many counties make up that district, all the precinct committeemen will gather, and I'm sure multiple people will throw their name into a hat, and then these precinct committeemen will pick someone to finish that term. Then the precinct committeemen of her new congressional district, because it got redrawn due to population, et cetera, will also meet, and they will pick someone who, depending on boundaries, et cetera, will be the nominee on the ballot this fall. So Jackie Walorski was the Republican nominee. She has a Democrat opponent. That person is already set. So there will be 2 different caucuses. One caucus will pick the person to finish the term, which ends at the end of this year. The next caucus will pick the person to serve on the ballot this fall, and that person in a largely red district will likely become the next congressman from that district. So that is the consensus that we settled on. We went around and around with it. It was not abundantly clear, but we believe when that is how it will operate. And if it's wrong, if someone say, no, you're totally incorrect, that is the information we have been provided by people inside the Republican Party, and the news department did a great job trying to dig to the bottom of it because it was kind of unclear in the beginning.
Great loss, not only for Northern Indiana and the entire great state of Indiana, but also the U.S. Congress. She was on the Armed Services Committee. She was on the Budget Committee, Veterans Affairs. For a time, she was on the Ways and Means Committee, a very powerful, predominant leader and someone who will truly be missed. And we lost a patriot.
Yes.
Before we go, let's talk about another lady. And this one, you're not quite as big a fan of. And that is Liz Cheney.
Oh, jeez.
Her Republican opponent was making fun of how she got the Hollywood endorsement from Kevin Costner this week.
A pretend cowboy.
Pretend cowboy. So Hageman said Yellowstone is a good show, but Kevin Costner is a pretend rancher in a Hollywood production shot mostly in Montana, not Wyoming.
Yes. So the election for Wyoming is August the 16th, the primary. So that is 2 weeks from, what is today, the 4th?
Mm-hmm.
So that is, just inside of 2 weeks. We're inside of 2 weeks, 2 weeks from Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Liz Cheney is about to get the doors blown off of her. She is about to get boat raced out of the building. It is going to be one of the sweetest, most wonderful, most amazing political events that I could have ever imagined. We may tailgate at the start of the day, like, it may be a British Open type day, Casey, where the whole day is dedicated to the end of Liz Cheney's career, because good riddance to the Cheneys, good riddance to the Bushes, good riddance to the Clintons, good riddance to the Kennedys, these family dynasties that have destroyed this country. It is time for new people, and I can't wait for August the 16th.
Thanks, Rob. Good job today. Kevin, good job as well. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thank you for listening today, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Interest rate hikes are slowing home price growth, but you can still get top dollar for your home right now with Mark Dietel. Maybe you want to maximize your equity now while you can, but you are not sure where to move next. Mark Dietel guarantees multiple offers on your home in 3 days, or it's listed for free. Get maximum convenience and maximum sales price. Listen to what Randy in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietel. I had a rental property I was ready to sell to cash out in our hot market. Selling fast was good, but more importantly, I was looking to sell for top dollar. Mark Dietel delivered both. I got 20 offers and sold for $15,000 over high asking in a few weeks. Mark is the guy to get the best price in Indianapolis. Call the agent I recommend and trust. Mark Dietel guarantees multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or it's listed for free. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Everything is more expensive these days. Gas, groceries, you name it. One thing you can't put a price on is peace of mind, which is why I am a AAA member. I remember one day I got to work, my battery died in my car. AAA was there within 40 minutes, put a new one in, and I was on my way. Whether it's a flat tire, dead battery, you run out of gas, AAA is there 24/7. And if you're a AAA member, you can get discounts on all sorts of stuff, hotels, rental cars, restaurants. My AAA membership is even going to get me into the Indiana State Fair for free on AAA Day on August 17th.
So if peace of mind on the road combined with more dollars in your pocket sounds like something that you'd be interested in, join AAA today. To get your AAA membership, visit AAA.com, call 844-GO-AAA.